What is up, everyone? What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing this hump day? It's Wednesday. We have, 5 days until Hacker Summer Camp. I didn't really sleep much last night. Not because I was doing much, I just didn't sleep, but I didn't get to really work on the Cube's laptop. So we might do an extra stream before I head out for Hacker Summer Camp. So we'll see. What's your opinion on pirating games? It's a very gray area on things. So let me put it this way. If it's an indie dev, never. No. Do not pirate indie devs. Gonna say that point blank. Abandonware, that's that legal gray area, but I mean, nobody's there. Where I'm starting to take issue with is the whole games around the premise of stop killing games. Where if I can't own a game that when the studio's gone or the studio decides to no longer support, just stops, it will continue working, I don't really see you as, you're not really owning anything. And I know some people will be like, well, you paid for the goods with the services and the subscription, but I think the problem is that we're going into a world where literally you will own nothing and be happy. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to clean up my stats. Hold on 1 second. As, I hit my goals. Alright. Just finished my Google Cybersecurity certification. What would you advise me to go on next? Home lab and tinkering. Get your hands on actual things and don't focus on the pieces of paper. That's the honest truth. I mean, pieces of paper are nice checkboxes, at most. But I think people are wasting a lot of time and energy on the wrong things. And I think a lot of that has to do with, like, there's influence out there selling you a bunch of BS about things. The problem is, and I've said this multiple times, certs and degrees, if that's all you have on your resume, you're doing the same thing as everybody else out there competing against you. So what differentiates you? Your hands-on ability and your capability to show that you actually are willing to, do more than just the bare minimum. Places I could practice better. Well, for years, I've basically just done home labs and tinkering and built a lot of my stuff and looked up things and watched YouTube videos. And as we're going to go into in a few minutes here, I have a archive here with 6 terabytes of retro and historical cybersecurity education that I was, the last stream we were going through the broken.org and we just started watching Hack TV, so you can kind of get a glimpse into the things that I watched to get me where I am. The thing is, when it comes to a lot of this, you have to be a bit of a self-starter. That's the honest truth about it. If you're just taking and following direction all the time, and that's fine when you're learning, don't get me wrong. But once you, start getting a hold of the concepts, you need to start pulling strings and get deeper into it. Textbooks, lab exams, all of this cert stuff, surface level. You're in a clean room. And a lot of times, everyone can eat, getting money in the daytime, even down when I sleep. I don't know why Stream Elements keeps cutting it off. Thank you for that sub, Side Lane Kane Main. You really worked hard on trying to find a name that rhymed, didn't you? But yeah, because one of the problems that I see, that I was talking about before we got that alert, is it comes simply down to the fact people, and I see it all the time in my chat, and I'm by no means picking on anyone. This is a problem of a byproduct of a lot of the educational systems that they teach you what to think and not how to think.
Jonathan Selvage is now chilling in the lab.
But the problem is, if you're going at this, like, books can only teach you surface level concept stuff, but once you start getting into the deep nitty gritty things, that's when you actually need to start talking to people. You need to start looking at living documentation of projects that are over evolving and, you know, adapting. A lot, like, let me give it to you this way. There's things that I'm doing today, there's no goddamn cert that's going to teach you a lot of. So today, to give you an idea, you'll get some concepts, but a lot of the specifics, you got to dig in and figure out yourself. So I'm working on CrowdStrike right now. We're working on a data protection module, and in Windows and Mac, that requires a browser extension in the back end. And to install that, you have an MDM, and there's a whole thing going into that. Cool. On Mac, you have to push that through with Jamf, and then you have to create a plist with the information that they give you, and then create the COM, and make sure they associate with the right COM files in Mac. And I just said a whole bunch of, you know, what sounds like gibberish to a whole bunch of other people. But there's not, I mean, yes, are there Mac-specific certifications out there? Yeah, but are you going to go and get them? No. But this is stuff you pick up while you're tinkering. You learn more and more. And that came from my former Mac using days and tinkering. A lot of concepts can only come through experience. Exactly. All right. I am not Amnesiac OS opinion. If you really needed to use an Amnesiac OS, I would just recommend using Unix in Amnesiac mode. Unix has an Amnesiac mode built in. Just go with that. Unix is honestly the perfect solution for a lot of the people that are like wanting to be these elite hacksaws thinking they're doing something on Tails when the 99% of you don't need Tails. Tails is more for extreme situations of like journalists, political dissidents, you know, we're talking like there's actual like most of them are like going to be related to like political issues, things like that, journal, you know, things like that. If you're not really like, let's put it this way, in most of those situations that a lot of people would need Tails, you're gonna have bigger problems than how you access the internet first. Ever tried getting degree certifications? I have a CISSP and I got a crap ton of certifications as the result of finally just being bored enough to check the box of getting a bachelor's degree that I started in January and I'm already 3/4 done. So, yeah, I got the CISSP before a degree. And then WGU made me get the A+, the Network Plus, the Security Plus, the ITIL, the Linux Professional Institute, Linux Essentials. I didn't study for any of those tests. Except the ITIL one, just for their verbiage, because it was so stupidly confusing they made simple things. If you try out Temple OS. Temple OS is great. It is written in Holy C. It is the most divine experience of an operating system. For those of you that don't know about Temple OS, it is a kind of niche it's sort of like cult, like meme distro now. The story behind it is unfortunately a little sad. The guy that actually created, I know a lot of people are going to look it up and they'll say like, well, he said racist things. The dude was schizophrenic. Like, not even like, oh, I'm just calling him like he was diagnosed. It's a very sad case of mental illness. I think the guy's name was Terry. Hey, Terry Davis, yeah. I'm doing alright, Beak. How you doing? I had a topic. So why are you not upgraded to Pop OS 2404? Because 2604 is around the corner. I'm not doing a major upgrade, and whenever I do, like, I like to, every few years, I like to reinstall my Linux fresh. Even on Windows, I do that. I just always have. I like to just, you know, come at it and be like, well, all my important data's on the NAS, and it's getting backed up. Let's just nuke the desktop. And then all I got to do is back up some of my game files. Like Morrowind, because that doesn't cloud save when you use Open Morrowind. Okay. So we're going to be watching some content in a second from Hack TV, which is what, 2006, I think it is, in a sec. That's what tonight's about. It is Hacker Summer Camp Watch Week. Cybersecurity is realistically a lifelong career. In many cases. In some cases, you get so burnt out with society, you end up buying a log cabin and living in the middle of the woods. Kind of joking, kind of not. A lot of people end up doing that. Also, some of the people I know just kind of swore off society and started a farm. Each their own. Alright, let me clean up the stat for that. Would you take a pay cut to move into a different industry, consulting to medical? Nah, I like what I do right now, and I still got growth in my career. Is the Google IT certificate worth it? So if you're ever looking at like, oh, is this valuable for me to actually invest my time in? Look at the jobs in the market right now. Go to Indeed, go to LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever the hell job postings. I don't know who looks for a job on Facebook. I don't even have a Facebook, but the point still stands. Go look at all those different companies and the jobs you're looking for. As I've said before, look at the commonalities that all of them are looking for. I'm going to be honest with you and say I have not seen one single mention of Google IT certifications or anything in where I've looked. Are they out there? Possibly, but not what I've known. That's why I just kind of say it's better to spend your time, cleaning, trying to, tinker with stuff hands-on, get a job in the field, at least at the lowest level possible. Because here's the thing. A lot of people are going to learn a lot while they're in the field. Now, in an enterprise, not so much. I'm going to be honest with you. So I honestly tell people, if you can avoid it, don't go to enterprise right out the gate in your IT and cybersecurity career. The reason why is enterprises are so big, you're going to get siloed into certain things, and you're going to miss all the periphery. And a lot of that stuff in the periphery is what you need while you're starting out. Because you got to learn all the things around you and how they connect together. So generally, I recommend people, if possible, it's not always possible, you could do this, look for companies that are called like managed service providers, especially the small ones. There's a lot of small companies out there that basically what they do is they are the IT companies for small to medium-sized businesses, because a lot of times they can't justify having IT on staff or more than maybe one person to kind of just keep the day-to-day operation, but the more complex things they need to outsource. So that's where I, used to do and come in. And I went from knowing basic desktop computers and, being a Linux guy, doing that to, effing around in my little network with that to, oh, here's Active Directory. Oh, we got to set up directory as a service through Jump Cloud. Okay, here's Okta. This is, password management at a business level, email security, setting up different services, and all of that, it is drinking a fire hose, I will be honest, and you will most likely get burned out after a while. I'm not saying do it forever, but you do that for 2-3 years, dude, you come out with like so many different perspectives on a lot of different topics that I, to this day, and some of my friends that have come around the same ways as I have, where we tinkered our way into our jobs, I've said the same thing, where we go into enterprises and a lot of the people, they're not dumb. It's not It's just that they haven't been exposed to a lot of the different things going on. And this is a problem I've been seeing more as we mature into different companies, because it's like, oh, we need to specialize into all these different things and split it out. Understandably, because no one person can do everything. But the smaller a company is, the more access you have to see everything that's going on. And you can scale up your knowledge as you scale up, size of company. But that's just my perspective. Maybe people have different. Jamf for Kanji? I haven't used Kanji so far, Jamf. I mean, it's okay considering that Mac sucks at management and enterprise. Especially with cybersecurity tooling. Like, I am missing so much visibility on those damn Macs. Like, the problem is, Apple never really considered their computers actually being used for business. Okay, let's see you at DEF CON next week. See you too! Come see the call center village. Where can I learn KQL, case, and Microsoft Learn? I'm not familiar with those off the top of my head. Fortunately, System Rescue CG does video. Can you get a junior network engineer position with just the CCNA and Home Labs? Yeah. I have friends that have just gotten their way into that position just with Home Labs. Home Labs and just some basic IT, like, I did retail IT kind of thing, like Geek Squad, Best Buy, yeah. Got my first IT role offer today, fixed my resume, and the PM took a chance on me. Hey, let's go! Hold up, where is it? Congratulations, Ishers. Mazel tov on that. But it goes. Keep us posted. I mean, you can let us know in the Discord or on the lives. Whatever. We want to celebrate our wins in the community. Do you have any CVEs to your name? No, I'm not on the penetration testing red team side. That's some of my other friends. I do work with them on occasions because they don't know how to do blue team as hard as I can, and they don't know how to, and I don't know how to red team as hard as they can. Yin and yang. Are you going to DEF CON? Of course I am. I'm volunteering at the call center village. Stanked, you're on YouTube. Go look at my most recent YouTube video. It's literally a first-timer's guide for B-Sides, DEF CON, and Black Hat. From my perspective, from going these past, was it 31, 32, 33, 3 years, so this will be number 4. What's DEF CON? DEF CON is the world's largest cybersecurity and hacker conference. Around 30,000 people descend upon Las Vegas from everywhere in the world. And DEF CON now has international conventions. They have DEF CON Middle East, which unfortunately has been postponed because of the Iranian conflict, understandably. And they also have DEF CON Singapore, which just started this year. Both of those. How do you balance work, school time with your dogs and do a lot of stuff throughout the day? I'm very blessed that I have a hybrid job, and one of the things I will tell you very honestly, work hard and, well, work smart and hard when you start your career out, because it pays off later. All the hard work and grinding I did paid off in spades, that now I'm able to feel like I can relax and kick back a little bit more. I'm not saying I'm getting lazy. Like, if you saw my list of things that I did at my job, even one of my coworkers was like, you did all that this week? And I'm like, yeah, that is because, like, our leader, not our manager and not my manager's manager, but his boss above him is, like, demanding, trying to, of course, there's some stragglers that are, really not doing their job, just showing up to meetings, things like that. And our director and manager was like, don't worry, it's no one on our team or any of that. There's some other people that, they're just trying. So it's like, just give me a line, 2 to 3 things that you've done every week. Doesn't have to be verbose, just one-liners. I'm at 15 and it's halfway through the week. But the point is that, when you're talking about balancing work and life, what has helped me out is, I've talked about this a little bit, I haven't talked about it too much, in my early 20s, I was kind of effing around, alright? I was very immature, and then what happened was, I got into a relationship, the one that got away. I messed up, wasn't mature enough, had to get my shit together, because at the time, it was like, I'm not going to take a serious job, all that, F the corporate world, but meanwhile, my family is still having to support me in kind, even though I'm working gigs and all that on IT stuff. So at 25, we go through the breakup. I remember, basically, what was it, okay, so I drank for 2 days, and then I just literally stopped, and I took my Xbox, because that was one of the other time killers for me, cutting into my, grind, and I literally put that in the closet for 5 years. And then I just focused on tinkering and making it fun and home labbing and getting secondhand equipment wherever I could to build up labs and concepts and everything, get myself out of that retail side that I was in, worked myself into an MSP, and how I got that job was literally looking around, just Googling. I literally just Googled MSP in the area and just variations of it and applied to every single one. I found a great one, and then worked my ass off. So I didn't really have vacation, things like that. But now I'm at the point where, because I know what I know, and I've gone through the things that I've gone through, I can work efficiently at my job and have a balance. I have a hybrid position, so I go in the office, a couple days a week, and, work from home. And, I, just try to find, a compromise and a balance wherever possible. Basically, the thing is, you have to look at the 4 costs. So, I studied a little bit of economics when I was in college. Again, effing around, just not knowing really what I wanted to do, just aimless. I learned about, the 4 costs. So the 4 costs are time, financial, human, and opportunity. So what I honestly did is, a lot of times I look at my decisions that I have in front of me and I weigh out an opportunity cost. So let's put this into perspective here. I could spend an hour playing a video game. I could spend an hour studying PF Sense and working on networking. Okay, there's 1 hour of opportunity cost, 1 hour of time cost that goes into both. And then what's the opportunity cost? Because you can't do both. So now I'm losing the opportunity on PF Sense, and then what's the opportunity that brings versus this? I know a lot of people are like, well, it sounds like you just kind of, gave up a lot of personal time and everything, but you know what? It paid off in the end. And in the middle of it, I still managed to get massages and work out and stuff like that. Going to summer camp next week? Yeah. I will be at the call center village with some of my friends, most likely, in between my workshops and stuff. Did you read the postmortem from Hugging Face for the AI intrusion? I haven't, because I was elbow deep into CrowdStrike shenanigans this week with Jamf, and I found a bug in Jamf. No, not a bug in CrowdStrike's integration to Jamf. So I've been dealing with CrowdStrike for 2 weeks and trying to deal with this while I'm trying to shore up some gaps in different systems. Let's hack your summer camp. So, hit the wrong button. We're not there yet. That's the InfoCon drive. We're going to go through that in a sec. We got a couple minutes. Hacker Summer Camp is the affectionate term we give to the 3 largest cybersecurity events that happen in Vegas all in 1 week. So it starts off with B-Sides Las Vegas, or Black Hat. They happen at the same time. So Black Hat, the big corporate-y type cybersecurity conference, you know, where your vendors are basically going to try to shill stuff to you all day long. From what my mentors have told me, you get the badge, you actually have your name and company on it. So one of my mentors actually told me that he just signed up as Pickle Rick every year or something like that. And he is also this is Colonel Dump, told me that he basically just made a game out of, with his friends, how many vendor shirts they could run out of Black Hat with, and he got the record of like 46 or 48 or something like that. Black Hat is very expensive, unless your business is sending you. I generally don't recommend it. Yeah. Anyway, B-Sides, if you're not familiar with what a record or a cassette is, because I am old as fuck, apparently, you had the A side of a record or of a cassette, or a tape, whatever. And, you'd run through the reel, and then you flip it over, and there's another side with all more music and everything. But usually the B side, so the A side is usually like, these are the best tracks that we think, this is what they want to have priority, and the back half is just, it's good, but these are not the ones we really want, to shine. So they jokingly made the B-Sides Conference, which is basically, as they say, the conferences, the talks that got rejected from Black Hat. But B-Sides is more of a community event. It's actually run by the B-Sides now. They were the original one, but B-Sides is now international. There's B-Sides in many different cities all over the world in different countries. I've gone to 2 B-Sides so far in my state, and I've been invited to 3 more in neighboring states. And they're usually inexpensive too. Like B-Sides is about $100 for Vegas, plus hotel and that. Then, of course, it all leads up to the Mac Daddy, DEF CON. This is a conference that has been going on this is its 34th convention. 30,000 people in Vegas, in cybersecurity, hacking random shit. CTFs abound, one-off electronics, new cybersecurity tools get dropped at DEF CON. So if you're familiar with CES, where they show all the new consumer show stuff, DEF CON and Black Hat for the enterprise side are where all the cybersecurity companies unveil their stuff. So I already have the Free Willy 2, which is a competitor to the Flipper Zero, but it's a different priority of different things. I pre-ordered that. In fact, thank you for the follow. In fact, one of the members of the Free Willy team from I can't remember, it was in my Instagram DMs. They found my little clip from the stream where I was talking about ordering the Free Willy, and they invited me to their party. They're having a party at a punk bar. That's another thing. Hacker Summer Camp is famous for the parties too. There's something for everyone at Hacker Summer Camp. Can you help me hack the CIA? Only if you help me first find the treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. There's a treasure map on the back of it, and we're going to steal the Declaration. Probably get asked this, how do I get into cybersecurity? You start with IT in most cases. To quote Drake, started from the bottom, now we here. Okay, that was corny as shit, but I regret nothing. I think there was a B-Sides local to me earlier this year, but I couldn't go because it was during when I had to go to work. Oof. At work, I would make the case for going to these events because work is actually not having me take PTO for any of these cybersecurity conferences. The only conference I've taken PTO for was Hamvention. And I told them outright, I'm taking the PTO for that day, because while there is a cybersecurity talk doing with radio, it's not really relevant to cybersecurity as in my job, per se. So, like the B-sides I've been at before, they didn't make me, have to take time off. The one I was a speaker at, the ISSA that I was also a speaker at, that didn't make me take PTO. In fact, a couple of my coworkers were at that one. When I even before I got this job, I already, I booked DEF CON and everything like that. Like, I booked my hotel in January. They were like, yeah, so I know you paid for the event yourself, but we're not going to make you take PTO. We just can't let you use the company expense card on meals and stuff while there, because it's this weird thing of, I technically bought it before and there was no approval for it, but they did give me approval to buy the B-sides and DEF CON talks, because a lot of people don't know this. I don't think I included this in the video, but there is a way for businesses, and this is very valuable, because a lot of people don't know that the DEF CON does release all their talks, generally about 5-6 months after the con. But a lot of that information is fresh, hot, and ready, and you want to get that in as fast as possible. So what they do to kind of make some more money to help fund the conference, because remember, this is a lot of money they basically, as soon as DEF CON finishes, the next day they're planning the next one. They schedule them out 2 years in advance. Shit, where was I going with this? Train of thought. This is what happens when you're on like 4 hours of sleep. But yeah, so, anyway. Oh, yeah. Media. So, DEF CON does a thing, and it's usually in the back section of the vendors, but you can also buy it online. You can get a digital download of all the B-sides and DEF CON talks. Now, years ago, you used to buy the Black Hat and DEF CON talks. You used to buy them together. But a few years ago, Black Hat was kind of like... So Black Hat and DEF CON were started by the same guy, DT, the Dark Tangent, Jeff Faust. And he eventually, sold off or kind of spun out the Black Hat side to a media company. He's still involved, but not really. But they're really leaning into that, marketing side of it. So they're keeping tight grip on their talks and all that, and they sell it differently. But anyway, at least that's my understanding. Anyway, the B-sides and DEF CON talks are, I think, $280 for the digital download and the SSD. And you get it, they give you a business license as well. So what we're going to be doing at work is I'm going to be taking all the DEF CON and B-sides talks from this year, and we're going to be making a company library for the entire cybersecurity department to have all DEF CON materials. And when I say DEF CON materials, the PowerPoint presentations from the speakers. We're talking about the workshop PDFs for even classes I didn't get to attend. Just everything. Where is that located? It's usually in the back section in the vendors area. It's usually a very nondescript thing. It's usually just a table with just clipboards and pieces of paper. And there's usually 1 or 2 people there. It's a very, very low-key booth. It's very easy to miss. So, yeah. How important is it to learn PowerShell? I think you at least need to learn the basic concepts. I barely use it because it's basically the bastardized black sheep cousin of Bash. I'm heading out to Las Vegas this Friday for Hacker Summer Camp. Nice! I guess I'll see you. I'll see you there. I think my buddy's already got a cabana at the pool reserved for us before the Hacker Summer Camp even starts, because some of them are rolling out Friday and Saturday too. Do you think you could stream from up there? Maybe. New Village has a room upstairs with glass windows overlooking the convention center. Yeah, I could stream from up there, but I would need to get permission because it's kind of like you don't want to invade their people's privacy. So any of the pictures that you have seen me use in relation to DEF CON are content I've taken myself and gotten permission from everyone in the frame, or they are pictures that have been officially from like DEF CON's media and socials and all that. Because there are common areas where they say, like, if you're on stages or that, you are allowed to get photographed. See you later, Vic. Where is that located? What? Hacker Summer Camp? Las Vegas, Nevada. Usually like the first or second week of August. Doing the Google Cybersecurity. What are your thoughts on this program? Okay. What? Can I ask, like, seriously, I'm just curious here. I'm not picking on anyone. Where the hell did this Google Cybersecurity, like, thing come out of? Like, I know it's been a thing for a while, okay? But, like, all of a sudden, I've noticed within the past few weeks, there's been a deluge of people coming in and asking about this cert. Like, oh, I got it, or should I get it? And it's weird because, like, I've never really seen anybody ask for this cert, and I personally don't know anyone that has it. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just, I'm giving my observation. As far as I'm, you know, in my perspective, as far as I see, the ones that they're like companies are really looking for are like Cisco certs, you know, like in the networking side especially, vendor specific certs like maybe Okta, CrowdStrike, things like that, and special niche cases if they want to go that route. CISSP, you know, the ISC squared, CCSP, or the other equivalents thereof. You've also got CompTIA, the various alphabet soup they've got, and of course you've got SANS. Those of historic, oh, and of course of what is it, offensive security, OffSec. You know, the OSCP. Those have been primarily the main like certs I've seen people specifically call out by name. There used to be like more I've seen like of CEH, but I think they're the ones that got into this kerfuffle of like, I hope I'm not wrong here, but there were like allegations of like plagiarism, I think it was, or something. It was, yeah, there was some, yeah. Yeah, have you come across people not super passionate about cyber but successful? Yeah, we call them CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers. Okay, so the honest truth is, a lot of those people tend to be in management and leadership positions. Not always, but they tend to be. Because those are the people that are really chasing the money, because I've met a lot of people that have thought like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, get into cybersecurity and make a lot of money, and don't realize how much work it takes, not just to get in, but to stay in and on top of your game and still grow. Google doing Google things. How's work-life balance? For me, it's pretty great. Now at my last job, it was a fucking nightmare. I've been clear about that. That job, seriously, fuck you, VP. He got fired. He got fired after I left. Karma! I hated that dude. Like, and so many people did not like, this is gonna be one of those guys, I'm gonna remember his name for the rest of my life. And I'm not a person that holds a grudge. But like, a lot of us were just like, kind of like, thinking he was really prejudiced. Like, we had women that left the company saying things like he just like would favor men over. Like there have been women stuck in positions forever that even I've said, like, why the hell are they not in a more technical position? Give them a fucking raise and a better position. The way that he basically like was always hounding on, it seemed like his two favorite targets, or at least two of his favorite targets, seemed to be people that had certain minority statuses. My boss was a Indian refugee from Kuwait, or however that whole thing went. Yeah, he did flee the war, and it was a whole mess. He told me he had to redo his CISSP because it lapsed while he was in the middle of the Kuwait war. Anyway, yeah, he was just like, he threw my boss on a pip to the point my boss, the director, left the job a few weeks after I did and said I made the right move, and like a bunch of people left the job. But yeah, anyway, work-life balance, pretty great. I have a hybrid job. The company I'm at, for the foreseeable future, they don't seem to be going full RTO, but they are no longer hiring full remote positions, which I understand. Because honestly, I know a lot of people are like, I want remote work. Here's the thing. And then we're going to get into Hacker Summer Camp videos after this. I actually argue against a fully remote job, especially in the beginning of your career. Here's why. The best ways that you learn and grow and level up in this career is being around people that you can learn through osmosis. There's been a lot of conversations that just happen organically that allow us to work together better. Even the people that are remote would acknowledge, like, they'd say, like, this is the kind of problem we need to go into a meeting room for an hour and a half and just stay on a whiteboard until we figure out a solution. With that, you know, I would always recommend, like, look for at least a hybrid position. And then the other thing with remote work is you have the problem of perception, because you're not always there in front of other coworkers and your manager. They don't get the idea of what you're doing or the constant reminder that you're there and the things that you're doing. I've known, what's interesting is I've actually been witnessing the turnover with my friends in remote jobs is a lot higher than my friends in hybrid and RTO jobs. And when I say turnover, I mean, I've seen people that work more in remote get fired than they have moved on their own. Than I have compared to like hybrid and art. Now again, this is anecdotal. Oh, don't you love how I'm in the middle of discussing, you know, cybersecurity and everything, and you have the one schmuck that comes in the room and asks, oh, are you Jewish? Would you want to talk about Palestine? Thank you for making my cousins a fucking joke and a meme that you just want to go and interject. Go take your keyboard activist performative ways elsewhere. Some of us actually have family that died. And I'm going to make this very clear. We were talking about cybersecurity. Alright, on that note, let's get some Hacker Summer Camp videos going. Alright, so, for those of you that don't know, we have here these are my 4 8-terabyte hard drives that I got copied from DEF CON. They have a thing called the Data Duplication Village where you bring your hard drives in, and you can get up to 5 images of hard drives. Now, as you can see, I have 4 here. So we're going to go through the InfoCon drive in a second. I'm going to bring these 4 to DEF CON to get the newer versions. But just so you also see, I also have a table here with all the rainbow tables. There's 2 disks of rainbow tables. And then we have NTLM hashes and stuff like that. So, and then InfoCon also has a nice set of word lists over here too. And all this information, by the way, you can pretty much get for free at infocon.org if you want to grab it, but I have 4 8-terabyte drives here. Oh, and the 5th drive that I don't have is VX Underground, which is usable for malware research. It is live malware. Be careful with that. Use the utmost precautions. But anyway, let's get into the content here. So, as you can see, if you're not familiar, we've gone through I'm going to remind you this every time, but InfoCon has pretty much every other cybersecurity conference out there that has recordings. And they have torrent files, too. This is totally legal to torrent. Okay, so for those of you that are like, oh, BitTorrent's only for illegal things, no. 100% legal, ethical. You can grab it. But anyway, like, we can go into any of these. So let's see. Like, we had, do they have a B-sides here? No, they don't have the B-sides. But they have, like, past Black Hat talks. So you have, like, Black Hat USA. So look, we have Black Hat talks from 1997 all the way to 2024. Because I think 2025 was the year Black Hat talks were not really being freely given out anymore. Linux distribution do I use is Pop OS. Chief, it's triple digits right now, and I'm currently at 20,000 steps counting at work. How's it going for you? Nice! It's going great. Oh, I did have to order new shoes, because, so I found out something interesting. So those Paluva shoes I have, so the Strand ATRs that I got, great shoe, love them, fit my feet perfectly at a size 9, which is weird because I'm a size 11 wide normally in boots and all that. Their sizing runs really small. Okay, I get a size 9 of the Strand mesh, more breathable version, everyday kind of tread, for me to walk around for my 5-toe shoe. And for some reason, it's smaller. Like, it's squishing my feet and hurting my toes even after I'm breaking them in with wool socks. But it doesn't have that issue when I have thick wool socks on the other ones. So I did order the same shoe in a half size larger. So now I have 2 of the same pair, but one of those at least I can use with regular socks, maybe for around the house, and garden stuff, whatever. Should I start streaming, bro? That's up to you. I just do this for fun. In my 2nd year major, cybersecurity at WGU, and was hacked recently. They stole $8K student refund. Oof. Ouch. Yeah, that bites. And it's hard to know how they specifically got it, and I doubt there's much recourse. But, yeah, I'm at WGU, too. I'm 3/4 done with my degree. I started in January. Just going for that checkbox, but, yeah, for, yeah, that really sucks. Yeah. Most likely, unfortunately, your information is probably out there. You may want to run your stuff through, like, Have I Been Pwned and stuff, and see where you're exposed and how maybe they got access. Maybe you're reusing passwords. Like, here, like, okay, I know this is kind of shitty here to say this, but there is a silver lining. Everyone learns from an incident. There is a way to take a post-mortem out this where you can at least start assessing yourself as a cybersecurity professional, okay? Yes, this sucks. You lost $8,000. Not denying that. But let's at least do a silver lining here. You're going for cybersecurity. Analyze this like a cybersecurity professional. You just went through an incident. Now you need to go through a post-mortem, figure out your remediations, where were you exposed, and how can you prevent this moving forward, potentially. And if there are risks that just happen to be out there, at least you're aware of the risks, and then what risks also are you're intentionally willing to accept, because there is, of course, a certain line between convenience and security. So, I'm not trying to be that person to be like, this is a great thing, but I'm trying to at least make a positive out of a negative here for you. I think I'll get the money, but it'll take some time. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'm rooting for you. If you can, just, if you get any updates, things like that, you're more welcome to, keep us updated on all that. What distro? I'm on Pop OS. Oh, one last thing I forgot to show before we get into Hack TV and the videos. I forgot. New tools! So as you know, I love Wera. I needed a new set of precision long shaft screwdrivers. And it's Wera. So, let's see. I've got my everyday travel Wera. We got my the basic, I can throw it in a bag Wera. Then we have we're getting down to business Wera with ratcheting and every bit that I probably need for standard stuff. And then, I need all the bits from Wera. Wera and Weehaw, my two favorite tool companies. Does Wera have Robertson bits? I'm not familiar with that. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Wera and Weehaw, two of the best tool companies. I'm not knocking iFixit. They make pretty good tools, but like, iFixit is kind of like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but like the minimum acceptable standard. Okay? They're good enough quality for the price, they're good value. But when you start working seriously with tools, that's when you need to start leaning more into, like, in my opinion, your Kleins, your Weras, your Weehaws. iFixit is low-key expensive. Go look up Wera. Go look up Wera tool costs. Then come back to me and tell me expensive. Klein has never failed me. Klein as well. Like, this is my precision Klein everyday screwdriver. I am planning to take this to Hacker Summer Camp along with this and my set of bits here. That should be pretty much everything I need for screws. I gotta find my soldering iron. If I wanted to learn and get into cybersecurity, what do I do? What do I learn fast? You start with the basics. You go into the basics of IT and the concepts there, like you're like learning networking, system administration. You start with the fundamentals. A lot of it can be done through, joining communities, meeting people that like help you grow. Like, I have a nice Discord and Matrix that can help you out there, but also home labbing, and then many people may need the advantage of going to classes. Some people don't do well with that and then prefer to just like bash their head against the wall and learn by tinkering, and that's me. I'm not knocking anyone that needs to go to a class to at least start for their conceptual knowledge and everything. But just understand that at a certain point, you won't be able to learn more from a textbook or a class. You have to become your own teacher. All right, so let's go. What is it? Documentaries? We're going to go into some old... Ooh, pirate documentary? What's this? Oh, we got subtitles for it. curious how long that is. All right. We got tech documentaries, but let's go into... Those are the hacker documentaries. We need... Okay, here we are. Hack TV. So, what we were at, I think it was episode 3. I know I'm gonna get copyright struck because I still am clearing out copyright strikes from YouTube for my last stream, and I do not give a fuck! I wasn't struck, it's just, what do you call it, a claim. I wasn't struck, claim, because there's music.
All the hackers and the crackers. You know what I'm saying? If you hear this, I want you to off this and do your dirt, dog. Do your dirt. You can fill a stadium with cats.
Damn! Look at that! That guy was a pimp! He had the cow pattern gateway! Look at that! Look at that! He had, like, you don't understand. That's a... Is that his PC there? Or is that it? I'm trying to figure out. But I know that's a tower. But then he has his monitor up here, so... I don't know. But there's... I don't know.
Sky will never die before the...
What if he has 2 PCs? It is a possibility, but it is very rare at this time. You have to remember, this is like 2004. We're in the era right now, at this point in time, many people still had 1 computer per family.
Crackers and the hackers.
I wasn't one of those. Like, Dad kind of spoiled me, and I had a Windows 98 machine to myself in my bedroom with 10100 Ethernet.
Life was whacker, software we could never stack for. We were floored by these evil hordes. All the best shit we could never afford. The internet and MP3, they set us free. I'm downloading Windows ME right now off FTP. Bitches will never find me because
I just realized they're playing Nerdcore.
You got something new? Hit me off on ICQ.
Oh wait, they're in Vegas! This is a DEF CON episode! I know this walkway! That's the Sahara! That's where you get picked up for your Ubers now!
I'll help you back and jive. I got some top-notch
I
shit.
could have sworn that. I think that's where it is.
Like how we multiply. Like a phoenix from a different place we rise. Then you got the squares. Yo, dude, you're stealing, don't you care? LOL, bitch. I got a terabyte of wares. I like my files sit or rare. I'll download 700 segments from 1,000 sites. I'll drink coffee, snort speed, I'll stay up all night.
My pool fell.
Sight, black and white, ghost ISPs, find me, please.
Hey everybody, this is Stank Dog,
And I'm Dr. Zigman.
and you are watching Hack TV episode 3. So we're going to jump right into the footage this time. Our first clip is from Freaknik last year. I was not able to make Freaknik this year. However, you were and met up with our good friend from this first clip.
I got to meet up with Droops, and it's going to be Droops, you, and a little surprise guest doing some geocaching.
So hope you enjoy that. Take a look, and we'll be back in a few seconds.
Hi, I'm Stank Dog,
And I'm Droops.
and we're here doing a little geocaching. This is a national park in Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow, geocaching and like, when is this?
Before we do, we thought we'd do a little geocaching.
All right.
Now, what is exactly geocaching?
They actually allowed the military satellites for recreational use. So little GBSs like this sprung up. And immediately people thought, hey, what's an awesome use for this? I'm going to hide something, mark the coordinates, and tell my friends to go find it.
So it's like a global hide and seek,
So
basically.
it's a global hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of them, there's a little logbook where you sign your name, and there's trinkets inside that you can trade for. And we're actually putting out some copies of BenRev and some Memphis Linux CDs.
So, and the other thing is you go to beautiful places like this and you get to enjoy the scenery while you're going around the world. So we're going to squeeze a couple in now. So
This goes to show you, this is how hackers used to be. So when all of you talk about, oh, Chief looks like one of those nerds that just lives in his basement and never goes outside. Motherfucker, we went outside all the time. We were hacking outside. The last episode we were talking about war driving and driving around. Difference is that this generation may not go outside, but I'm gonna tell you, I bought 5-toe shoes and I love walking outside. I love feeling rocks between my toes. Let me tell you, one of the weirdest things about having 5-finger barefoot shoes, Walking on cobble streets, you feel like every little cobble and outlines. It's a cool, awesome feeling. Anyway.
Well, what's the first one we're looking for?
What IRC clients do you use? I haven't used IRC in quite a while. Unfortunately, a lot of the good ones kind of like... Everyone's gone to Discord and Matrix.
Ammo box, or?
It's actually a micro that we're looking for first.
Okay. We're going to look for a micro, so we're going to do that, and we're going to come back to you and show you what we find.
And one quick thing is, we're not from Nashville.
Yeah.
Like, Snake's never
Okay,
been
so they're
here
actually...
once, but, like, we're chilling in, like, a really cool, pretty place
Yeah,
that someone else found.
Alright, so we've been digging around for this geocache, and we got some help here. We recruited some local people here that are actually addicted to geocaching all of a sudden.
Yay!
So I think I found this right in this little hole here after about, what, 10 minutes of searching. I think I've got it. I don't know if you want to come in and zoom in.
I'm zooming, buddy.
You know what's so cool about this is...
Here we go.
This is when we literally had to get off the internet. Go outside and do things. We used the internet, but we were organizing on the internet to go out into the real world. And our phones didn't have data. If you did, at most you had like a pocket PC. It was so basic. I miss that ability for us to like live in the moment. Cause like, I notice like a lot of people just, the first thing they do whenever there's like an important thing or that they don't enjoy it, they take their phone out.
Don't give up.
Here's my friend the spider here.
Granddaddy long legs, bro. Big in Tennessee. All right.
There you go.
We started on 44. I guess this is the username of the person. 4404. It was first found, I guess, 418.
Oh, okay.
And then everybody signs, and it looks like 446. 7, 8, and the last people before us was 1016 from TN Stomper.
Tennessee Stomper.
There we go. So we're all going to sign this, and since you guys were in on it, we'll all give us a little signature here.
See, this is cool. Like,
Today is the...
you're not digitally marking or journaling it. It's like you're literally like, oh, we're all writing it, and you all got a map, like a treasure trove of all these other people.
But mine is. So
Someone's a computer programmer.
I'm going to sign you in, Droops. You can just put your first or whatever you want to put on there. We put our nicks on there, handle.
Just doing it for the love of the game. Yeah, like, this is 2004. Like, becoming a YouTuber or an internet celebrity
Putting it back in here.
was not really a thing.
Usually they have like little
I take that back. We had Tila Tequila. God damn it!
toys and trinkets and stuff like that. I'm gonna get everybody on camera.
I don't know where it was.
Right inside of this hole right there with a bunch of leaves covered. Stick it way down in.
But, like, yeah, like, these people are documenting stuff just for the intention of other hackers that are going to like this are going to come upon and watch it. There was no ulterior motive of, like, I'm going to become a famous YouTuber and make content for as my career. These people are... It's kind of... No, it is basically the, way I do things, which is that, I've told you all, I don't foresee myself quitting cybersecurity to become a content creator. Let me make that clear. I see this content stuff that I'm doing just as an extension of what I've already been doing. It was an accident, a happy accident. It happened during COVID. We were all trapped in the house, bored. I, got on TikTok, made a few things. One thing leads to another. Some friends pressure me to actually take it a bit more serious and expand, and one of them even makes a Discord server for me. And here we are.
All right, Droop. So we got a second geocache we're going to. But
I think this last time you saw something like this was the Pokemon Go craze. Oh, that was a wonderful time when Pokemon Go first came out. Like, it actually got people to go out and do things. I miss that ability for us. And that's part of the reason why I love going to DEF CON and cybersecurity conferences. Is because at least I'm going out there. I'm doing things. I'm meeting people. A lot of people need to learn, you need to get off the screen and go touch some grass.
What do you think, man?
The next time someone accuses me of being a Reddit mod or something like that, somebody clip that. I told people to touch grass.
It's this way.
Wait, what are they doing? Sorry, I was reading the chat. Dude, I'm just installed Kali Linux today and I have no idea what to do. I'm just watching stuff. Well, I have the perfect video for you. We're not going to watch it here. I'm just going to, point it out. It's made by this dude. I mean, he's kind of a dick, but I think he makes some decent content. It's me. I'm the dick. But there's a video right here for you. Kali Linux was never meant to be your daily driver. Watch that video. I go into it. There's some other videos that may help you out, like on your beginning Linux journey. Like, the best Linux distro gives you some basic, insight into things. So, yeah. That might help you. Like Network Chuck for basics. He's alright, too. I kind of just grew up. I think he and I are about the same age, so it's kind of like, I like some of his content, but I don't really go out of my way to watch him. Nothing against the guy, it's just, you have a limited amount of time in the day that you have a attention span. Okay. Keyboard ain't working when I go to decrypt my hard drive. That might be an issue with the actual keyboard. Or the way it's being read by the computer.
All right, Droops, so we got a second geocache we're going to.
You have any recommendations for modem router combos? No. I always recommend against modem router combos. Get a separate router, get a separate modem.
Can't help but notice that there's a sign right there that says restricted area, do not enter. What do you think, man?
It's this way.
There might be a driver issue then with your operating system that's trying to decrypt it. Try a different keyboard, and if you have a PS2 port, try that. Some keyboards have weird proprietary crap that they don't work at post. It's rare. Okay, so they're going through and they're finding more geocaches. Basic these geocaches are. Like, we go on like TikTok videos now, like the geocachers, and like they have these sophisticated puzzles for you to enter and everything. And back then it was like you had to get off the internet and then you had to find the thing. That was enough of trouble. You gonna try Hack Me? It's a very good site. Hold on. I always forget. Which one was it? I always get this confused. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Try Hack Me is kind of in a weird controversy because they're starting an AI pen testing company, and the allegations are that they have been using Try Hack Me user data to train the AI. That's the allegations, from my understanding. Platform-wise, not bad. Company-wise, there's... Hack the Box is okay so far. But the honest truth is, here's what you need to understand about all these labs that you're doing and CTFs and everything. They're clean rooms. They may teach you concepts and everything, but they're not going to give you the reality of when you walk into a business network and the mess and the tech debt and all the different things that you may actually come across. and will come across. All right, let's see.
Right now we're on this geocache hunt, and we have the GPS set up on the laptop, and this is our vehicle right now. We've just stopped at the stop sign.
A rental.
I want you to think about this. He's like, we got the GPS set up on the laptop. I need you to understand this. He probably literally had to plug in a GPS receiver and antenna into his laptop to have GPS software to be able to do this, because your phone couldn't do this back then. Oh, we need to go get directions to drive to Florida. Well, better get those directions from MapQuest and print them out. Like, this is so cool to, like, just see how it was when I grew up as a kid. Like, you had technology, but you weren't always connected. You connected with others.
Stoplight, and here we go. Now we're going to get some movement. What we're doing is we're going to this geocache right here. I'm sorry I'm bumpy, but again, we're driving. And it's really cool.
Look at this.
Have an overhead view of exactly where you're going. All right, this is Drew.
That's so trippy.
And we're geocaching.
I forgot, like, people actually did this on laptops because the GPS units were so expensive. And updating the maps was a pain in the ass, so you may as well just throw it on a laptop. Then again, if you tuned your car in this era, there's a good chance you may have had a laptop in your computer anyway.
We're going to try to find this thing. So it's probably hanging over the water somewhere down here. And follow lucky.
So is this episode just mainly them finding geocaches? No, we're only like, they usually do like several topics. How was GPS back in the days when it first came out? So GPS today, on your phone, it has GPS, but it's not always just relying on the satellites. It's relying on, you know, triangulation of towers and everything like that. Now, I remember originally, when I got my first GPS, was it the TomTom or Garmin? One of the two. Same concept. I think it was TomTom. Anyway, not only was it a pain because you had to keep updating the maps, like, I had to make sure once a week, at least, to update my maps, to get road closures, traffic, all of that stuff, because it was very expensive to get live traffic information then. You also, when you turned your GPS on, it would take several minutes for it to figure out where you were first before you could actually start mapping your drive. So literally, you would turn your car on, turn your GPS on, and then start doing whatever you needed to do to load up the car while the GPS loaded, and then you'd hop in the car and the GPS is ready to go. Aren't GPS expensive? They used to be expensive, now they're not. I mean, I've got GPS in this guy, I've got GPS in this guy. GPS is not that expensive anymore. Yeah. Just got my hands on a PowerMac G5 cheese grater, throwing Debian on it for funsies. Ooh, you got a gem. Those PowerMac G5s are based. Thoughts on Meshtastic? Love Meshtastic. I'm going to be using Meshtastic at DEF CON for the second year. I have a, another Liligo T Echo. I'm probably bringing this one with me too. This is, not flashed or anything. I kind of want to put mesh core on it, but they don't have a mesh core firm with it, so I may mess with like reticulum on it. We'll see. But I have my main one with Meshtastic. And these guys, by the way, on average, last me 7 days. They last me literally over a week on average. Just clip it onto my bag, go to work.
Alright, this is Stank Dog. I was holding the camera, but these noobs couldn't navigate their way down here, so I'm going to take it out because I'm pretty sure I see it. I don't know if you can zoom in, but it's
What the hell?
some aluminum. I'm gonna
Looks a little bit, sketch. Hope you got your tetanus shot there, bud.
Holy. Wow.
See? We nerds got out and did things. Meshnology sent me out a few to test of my other account. Nice. Yeah, I got the Meshnology antennas, because I found something interesting. I don't know where they are right now, but the stock LilyGo antennas had a standing wave ratio that was absolutely atrocious. Like, I think it was like, when I put it on my VNA, I got like over 3. And 3 is already very, very high for SWR. So I immediately tried out the Meshnology ones, and they're much better. They're at an SWR of 1.2, which, if I remember, is what, 95-ish or more % efficient on the antenna. Because the issue is, just so you know, when you're like, well, what, Chief, what's the standing wave ratio and what does it mean? Essentially what you need to know is it's how efficient your antenna is and how much it's reflecting back. So when an SWR is very high, it's mismatched very often for the impedance, and you just don't get the best performance possible. I thought their antennas were all right from what I can see. No, the LilyGo antennas, I put them on, they were bad. The Meshnology antenna was much better. This has a Meshnology antenna. My other one has a Meshnology antenna. They were nice, inexpensive choices that got quickly on Amazon and confirmed my hypothesis. And one of my friends did say that we were able to get hops a little farther, we saw.
come off.
Excellent.
Can you zoom in on this?
Yeah, I got it. That's what I'm doing right now.
Bring a magazine for that?
Oh, I forgot.
The expensive GPS systems like InReach have other features that make it pricey. Bro, there used to be like beamers and stuff where you literally had to put a disc into the GPS. And like, I knew people that kept burning discs like every week with traffic info and stuff.
I don't want it all to go flying out.
Probably will.
There's nothing I can set it on now. Alright. Nothing came out.
Just a random ass ammo can.
You want to sign it?
Yeah.
There's always a book in each one of these to sign your name.
Peak 2000s IT guy. The belt clip. The belt clip. You knew these guys were serious when you saw guys coming in with a belt clip. Shit was about to change. Totally forgot about the damn belt clip until I saw that.
This is the reason they're in plastic baggies. Throw it against here so if I make it before, it'll at least...
Alright. Good job there, hero.
Alright.
Okay, so they're dropping Linux CDs into these geocaches.
Put your lock back up.
I think they said they were Knopics,
I'm gonna stuff it back
which was the that was the distro to hand out to give to people to be like, hey, you want to try Linux? Well, you don't need to install it. Here's the CD. Just boot and run off the CD. Because flash drives are freaking expensive. I remember my dad bitching that I lost a 64 megabyte flash drive that cost him $130.
person. This is a bit of a tough one to get up into.
Yeah, don't make it easy.
So I'm gonna push it back. Try not to get racked in the process.
It's such a dangerous cache for them to like mess with.
Alright, we found the cache.
A little bit risky, but they got it.
But that's still cool. and we're about to take a look at the airport. Before we go, I'd like to say that geocaching is all around the world. It's in different places. I live in the country, and a lot of ones I find are on dirt roads, but like as you can see, we're like at a concrete plant. And we just had like an adventure, you know, in a river.
Oh my god.
Right there. And that's really
That was pretty awesome.
freaking cool. And like we've never been here at all until someone tells us to go with the geocache, and we like it. So
See? Nerds did things on the internet to organize and go outside.
That last segment was geocaching. It's a great activity to do outdoors. Go ahead and check it out locally. And that one was, of course, recorded in Freaknik of last year. I had the chance to go to Freaknik this year, which you heard a little.
I never got to go to Freaknik.
Conferences that you can go through throughout the scene.
There were several.
So back in the day, there were a lot of different cybersecurity conferences. Like, to give you an idea, where is it? If we go into the cons, I want you to understand every single folder here was a different cybersecurity conference. Every single one of these. And not all cybersecurity conferences have their content recorded. This is just what's recorded over the years. And yeah, so they're talking about Freaknik. Yeah, I don't have that one. That was one I did hear about from friends back in the day. They even got Schmook on. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Conferences out there actually, not only DEF CON, which is out in Las Vegas, the most well known, but there's also
See?
smaller local conferences like
They're talking about DEF CON.
and the Fifth Hope in New York, which is also very large. There's TourCon, there's NotaCon. If you just go out and do a little searching on the internet, you'll find lots of them. And we're going to show you a little bit about what happens inside some of these conferences. They all have their nuances and different things going on.
Holy crap! We're about to see.
Conferences or conventions take place all over the world and are a great place for hackers to meet fellow hackers. This particular footage comes from DEF CON 13, which took place in Las Vegas.
Wow! This is so, wow, like, you have to understand, like, this is so small compared to what DEF CON is now. Like, it's so weird.
Conference that is very popular in the hacking community. What you're seeing here is footage of the vendor area, which happens at just about every conference you can find, and is a great place to find merchandise that may or may not be of interest to hackers, from t-shirts to books to hard-to-find electronics equipment and everything in between. But this type of merchandise is only a small facet of what you might find at a hacking convention. It's not all about sales and vendor areas.
Dude! I want you to realize, this is so meta right now. Next week is Hackers Summer Camp. And we're watching, all content from InfoCon on past, hackery stuff. And I'm talking to you all about Hacker Summer Camp and getting you all into it. And here we are, 20 years later. I'm doing the same thing by showing you a video getting hackers introduced to hacker conferences. And this is like mid-2000s. But this is DEF CON 13.
What the conferences are really more focused on is having fun, whether it be...
Wow, the pool party is so small!
...found its way into the pool at DEF CON, or filming episodes of Hack TV Pwned. The part about conferences that people really look forward to is the camaraderie, hanging out and partying with friends who have similar interests and like minds.
Saying, like, in all this, like all these years. I mean, more or less, I said the same thing in different wording for all these years. I just find it so meta that it's like, oh yeah, let's show you all how, hacking used to be great back in the day for all this, and now here's a guy showing you that you should go to hacker conferences to up your skills and learn new things about cybersecurity. It's just interesting to think about how, like, this all evolved from when I was a kid learning this stuff to where we are today. Like, live streaming was not really much of a concept. What was it, like Justin TV? Before Twitch? And then, yeah.
This is the outer zone, after party, after enter zone 4, and this is what goes on after hours. What time it is?
Holy crap! Dude! The flip phone!
But the big attraction at hacking conventions are the war games that take.
Of course, the Confederate flag did not age well, but this is mid-2000s. Totally different time, totally different culture. But anyway, like, look how small this... I want to do something for comparison here. I need to show this. Hold on. Where... I closed my browser, didn't I? Damn it. Hold on. I closed that on accident. Need to open back that up. But what I want to do is I want to just, for a quick second, bring up maybe a TikTok so you can actually see why I'm like so flabbergasted at how this is back in the day versus what I'm experiencing now, because this is DEF CON 13. I'm going to DEF CON 34. My first DEF CON was DEF CON 31. Okay? So, with that being said, hold on. Where is Firefox? Had to open up my stats on Florp. Oh. Oh, I had all of my stuff in Firefox instead of Florp. I don't know. I'm tired today. TikTok.com. Let's go into my profile. But I just want to show you... Actually, it might be easier if we just search for DEF CON. Because I think I'm, like, some of the top posts for DEF CON. Okay, so you see, like, that's DEF CON Singapore. There should be a party video somewhere. Of course, we got new content coming. Oh, hold on. Let me try this. Put my username in. There's DEF CON, there's DEF CON, there's the shoot, there's Colonel and I messing with each other on the live. Damn. I can't find the one I'm thinking of. But there was a video of me at the pool party, and, like, that thing is packed. Like, you had to, like, stand in line, like, 30 minutes before, just to make sure you had a decent spot.
Attack and defense style simulations of computer systems, like the footage you're about to see of Packet Wars from Interzone 4.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first put up the objectives, and then we will put your force live.
Look at this.
By the way, I haven't...
This is where CTFs and all this happened before a lot of your platforms. Okay? CTFs used to be all in-person, pretty much, events.
A little trouble with my mouse because somebody decided to send me some unsolicited Bluetooth messages, rock and roll. But now, now we're no longer running those services, so I'm...
Sorry about that.
No, this is what this is all about. So I'm having fun, and it's been the first time in many years that I've had fun. So.
You hear that? He just was like, oh, yeah, I got, like, some unsolicited Bluetooth messages, and somebody apologized. Like, no, that's what we're here for. We're all just having fun. Like, dude's messing with him on tech, and he's like, nope, we're having fun.
Bonus.
All right, we're done with the forums. We need to get off of this and do that intro for segment 3.
Segment 3? Oh, okay. Well, as long as we just had the forums up, the next segment is a submission from a gentleman on the forums by the name of Booter. It's going to be a segment that takes care of hacking into those Max machines, those games that you see at bars. Have you ever seen those in a bar
Yeah,
before?
those little kiosks where you have all the different solitaire and all these corny little...
Oh, we're gonna be hacking a bar game?
Go by several different names and pretty much just steal your money while you drink.
It's always nice to have something else
Always
to
good
waste
stuff.
your money on, right? But Buddha does a great job of introducing it, so I think we'll let him take it away.
I'm gonna move myself to the top right.
Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Booter coming from Houston, Texas. I talked to you previously on episode 98 of BenRev Radio about getting into a bar machine. It's basically those touchscreen games where you get in there, you play the games and things like that. Well, I brute forced it several times, and they keep changing the password on me because they know I get into it. So I shoulder surfed the password. How I did that basically was I came in there one early afternoon and
Hold up 1 second. Yeah, he's giving great stuff, but can we point out the Microsoft Office XP t-shirt that he's wearing?
there was nobody in there, and I saw the bartender was inside the administration
For
screen.
98.
So I sat down one of the other bar machines, and when she left, I went to the machine, turned it around, exited the administration screen, and told her I need another beer.
1 second. My windows, for some reason, are bleeding through. Alright. I think that's... yeah, okay.
And I was just gonna check the high score of whatever game on this machine.
It kept flickering, so I was trying to fix that.
She went ahead, she did that. So I went back and sat back at the machine that I was at, and then I saw her turn the screen around, go back into the administration. That's when I got the password for that. So that's how I got in there, and that's what y'all gonna basically see today. And how I got in there, and I'm gonna show you a couple different options. Okay, so here I am. I'm at the bar, about to go inside and get into the bar machine. It's only about 2:30 in the afternoon, so hopefully there shouldn't be too many people here, or hopefully the owner shouldn't be here, and they shouldn't be questioning what I'm doing. So find out here shortly, I guess. Okay, so here we're at the machine. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said before, the info button here. Then it gives you the three choices. I'm gonna go ahead and push this one right here. And like I said before, I already know this, so go ahead and get into the box.
Just hacking while holding a cigarette.
Here's the 5 different choices. Like I said, there's nothing much to do. High scores, it's gonna show you a list of all the games, and if you click on any one of these, it's gonna show you for the high score of the game. Or you can hit this button up here at the top left, clear all, and it'll clear all high scores. We're not going to do that. And basically that's all this does. Volume control, self-explanatory. Right now you can't hear nothing, but if you do that you can. That's all it does. Screen calibration, basically it's a touchscreen machine here. So
no, this is the mid-2000s.
Right. You know, whoever has administrator rights can go in here and they can get it. So whatever you touch is accurate again, basically. Video billboard. It's basically just like a screensaver on here. So
this is 2003.
But you can check a couple things out on here. Okay, so there we go. He's doing his final preview game, and just a second you'll be able to see the message that I set it as. And it should display for about 20 seconds or so. So should be after this one, and we'll be able to take.
This is what hacking content used to be like. We didn't make it for clout. We didn't make it for, you know, money. We did it for fun. And then sharing the fun with others.
There we go. And that's the message that I displayed.
Owned.
Okay, so now that we got that, show you the other interesting part, the part that I really want to get into. Yeah, so right now, like, it does nothing. Like, as you can see, it doesn't do anything if you look right here. If you look up here, this may provide...
Just say the top 1% of cybersecurity hackers bad and good. What do you mean? I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, so now y'all have seen everything. There's not too much into it, but like I said, like I mentioned on there, the Turnmax update, that's something I want to get. Yeah, I really want to get.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's gonna
Typo.
be part of getting a modem into the bar where they don't notice and hooking it up to the machine. So I don't know if that's gonna be possible or not, but that's something I'm definitely gonna try to work on. You know, as you saw, there's no garbage file so you can get into the Gibson or anything like that. So
This is 2003. Wi-Fi was not too commonly... I mean, it was becoming a little bit more common, but it wasn't prolific everywhere. Like, you know how now you go everywhere and there's a Wi-Fi network pretty much guaranteed? There were areas you literally had nothing.
Nothing big there, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw, and hit me up on the forums.
I work as a cybersecurity engineer. I started right out of college, and I'm 2.5 years into it. I never understood why cyber was not entry level until recently, and I feel I lack so much knowledge to exceed and excel. How long did it take you to feel as if you really knew what you were doing and talking about? I still don't have that feeling. Welcome to imposter syndrome. It only gets worse. No, but seriously, here's the reality of knowing more and more things. The more you know that you don't know. So I've brought this chart out before. If you're not familiar with this, this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. I bring this up quite often, but it helps to show people. I need to find the right version that makes sense. The one with the peak of Mount Stupid. Ah, here we are, the confidence gap. Okay. So, no, go away. Don't want your newsletter. I want your image. If you look, this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. So basically, on your x-axis, you have the amount of knowledge you've gained, and on your y-axis, you have your confidence. Now, when you first start out, you rocket up onto what I call the peak of Mount Stupid. When you're arrogant and you're also ignorant. You are confident you can solve all these things. We've all been there in tech. Don't deny it. You were that smug asshole at one point, too, okay? All right. So now that you've gone down, what happens is you're experiencing right now what is happening. You're kind of coming down off of the peak of Mount Stupid and you're becoming more cultured. So you're going to hit this valley and you're now here and feeling that like, I don't know shit. My confidence is low. I'm now getting more insights to it. But what's going to happen is your knowledge is going to gain and you're going to gain more and more confidence. But do you notice that there's always a gap between when you're at that expert level and when you were ignorant? You're going to be more confident, but you're also going to be unconfident in that you know everything. Because now you know all the things that possibly can go wrong. You know there's more things that also can go wrong. So, hope that helps. But trust me, you're not the only one experiencing this. You go talk to any tech professional. They will tell you they're experiencing it. And if they tell you that they're not, they're fucking lying. We all go through it. Some days we're better than others.
All right, I'm here now with Tabiz, good friend of mine who's in charge of the VinRev meetings. You should start one in your local area. And he's going to help me introduce the next segment. It is submitted by an anonymous hacker.
This segment is actually about hacking laser locks using nothing but a PDA. And if you watch closely, there's a little surprise at this.
Hold on. A laser lock with a PDA?
What you're looking at now is a submitted video from an anonymous hacker.
Yo, somebody get lockpicking lawyer.
On the left-hand side, you can see the Walmart laser lock. The laser lock, which is no longer available, retailed for about $10 and was just about as close to lead as it got, except for when it came to security. The laser lock works via an IR signal. As you can see now, our anonymous hacker is setting the distance between his Palm Pilot, which we'll get a chance to see a little later, and the laser lock. This distance is important since IR signals aren't exactly the strongest ones around.
So the interesting thing, so a lot of you aren't aware of this, I just realized is, so you have these PDAs, which is like a personal digital assistant. I'm sorry if you're on TikTok, it's off screen, so you're just seeing a bed. The stream's optimized for Twitch and YouTube. Just anyway, but anyway, these PDAs, they didn't have Wi-Fi most often. And very often they also didn't even have cell signal. You literally would have a cradle at home, you would dock it, and then it would sync all your information. But the other way you could do it instead of a cradle over USB, glorious 1.1, is infrared. So if you had another PDA, you could send data to each other by lining up your infrared sensors, and you would have to connect a wire. If you were baller enough that you had a business class laptop, they may have an infrared sensor on there, like one of my ThinkPad laptops when I had a T series, I think it was. You know, had a look in general. What did you do? I love my little bot. Okay, so if you're not aware, I have a AI bot I made that runs on a Docker inside my home lab, okay? It ties into my AI server locally. It's Yo Mama as a service. This is roasting at scale. It's great. So let's see. Chief Geek 3D so unprotected a simple phishing email could convince them to install a rootkit. And then you can do things like this. Joke. We can get a flavor. Let's see. Let's get a database one in there. Let's get a nerdiness scale of... Let's give it an 8. And then we can target HBX. So I'm just showing you this. So it's H. How do you... well, just do that. Was it? Try to be lazy. And then... Wait. Oh. I forgot. I've been a while since I've looked at my own code. The target was basically like if you just wanted to like point it at somebody, I think was what I did. Yeah, custom target name. That was because I was trying to make Yo Mama jokes at one point when I was drunk about politicians. I have a lot of ideas when I'm drunk. I'm a fun drunk, at least. Alright, let's see. So, a meanness scale with a nerdiness of 7, and then we can get the user of HBX, and then... HBX so deprecated their BIOS firmware is still running on floppy disks and has a higher uptime than your last server cluster. Anyway. Let's go back to hacking a laser lock with a PDA.
They sure don't compete with the power and the range of Wi-Fi. Here you can see a close-up of the laser lock transmitter. It comes in the form of a keychain, and if you look closely, you can make out a few of the components. The round orange things in the middle are capacitors, while at the bottom is an interesting part. The code that will open this specific laser lock is actually hardwired onto those contacts.
Oh, wow. It's kind of amazing to think that was a $10 lock at Walmart.
While we continue to brute force this laser lock, pay close attention to it. You can barely see the red light flash for each attempt that's made. However, there are a limited number of laser lock codes, and we're bound to stumble on the right one eventually.
Oh. Really? That was pretty easy. What is that Palm Pilot? That is a Palm Pilot! God, I used to have one of these!
Tungsten T3 running the Palm OS version 5.21. The program that's being used to scroll through the possible combinations goes by the name of Omni Remote. There are 8,192 possible codes, which have all been stored sequentially in Omni Remote databases.
This was before Flipper Zero.
Then, macros were defined in order to automate the process of scrolling through the codes for a brute force attack. As you can see,
this is wild!
To cycle through, but 8,192 is definitely not too many to attempt to brute force. With a pause of 2 seconds between each attempt, it will take approximately 16,384 seconds, which is a little bit more than 4.5 hours, to attempt all the possible codes. We'll just cycle through a few of the databases here to give you an idea of how they are arranged and how many there actually are.
Wow. I never thought to do this with infrared back in the day. I've done so much chaos with my Palm Pilot. Have a pop. You could have the Palm Pilot in a holster. Quick draw. Psh. Omni Slow Pro. Dude, this was rocket fast at the time.
Of course, us being hackers, we hate to wait for anything. And fortunately, there is a backdoor code that will open any laser lock within seconds. Special thanks to our anonymous hacker, who undertook all of the hard work that was needed to figure this all out. As a matter of fact, he has a little surprise for us. Just sit back and enjoy the show.
Okay, what's going on?
Hope you all enjoyed Hack TV episode 3. It was a lot of fun putting together, and we'll certainly see you guys again. Same hack time,
Same hack channel.
This is dedicated to all the hackers.
Let's see. We've got... Let's see. What is this pirate documentary? How long is this? I'm just curious.
Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you guys about a great documentary that I saw just the other day called Downloaded, directed by Alex Winter. It tells the story of the rise.
Hold on. Oh, that's the movie review. So... Okay, we'll save this for another time, because I'm not watching that for hour or so, and knowing my commentary, I'm gonna take a while. But y'all can grab all this stuff on infocon.org, by the way. None of this is exclusive to me. You can also get this for free, too, at DEF CON. Just bring your own 8TB hard drive and ask for the infocon, and they'll format it for you. Anyway, let's see. Hacking documentaries. What do we got? DEF CON 20... Yeah, that's another one. I watched that a while ago. I watched that at my first one. Let's see. We got War Games Fears. Ooh. 1985 Hackers, Wizards of the Electronic Age. From 1985. Look at that mouse. It had one button. No right clicks here. There is only click.
This program is about hackers, the computer wizards who in just a decade...
Wait, is this going to be about Cult of the Dead Cow?
...and a cultural phenomenon. In the next half hour, we'll meet some of the heroes of the personal computer revolution.
It's the Woz!
Designer of the Apple computer, video game whiz Bill Budge, and Macintosh programmer Andy Hertzfeld. We'll also find out how the hackers created the personal computer as a labor of love, and why their breakthroughs may transform the way we think, work, and play. Already, millions of personal computers are changing our daily lives at work, at school, and at home.
Wow, look at that computer.
You can now correct a letter without retyping it, recalculate complex financial projections, or send electronic mail across the world. Hundreds of programs let you manage your money, draw on your...
It must have been so hard to learn hacking in the 1980s. So, computers were pretty much limited to academia. The only way my dad actually got access to computers back in the day was going to college. He actually told me stories about how he had punch cards to run into the computers, and he dropped one and literally had to spend half a day redoing his programming. Dropped the stack because it went out of order. And then he told me about like how it was coding in Fortran, because he actually coded the Hubble telescope while he was in the Air Force. It was he said about 10,000 lines of Fortran. There wasn't like internet. It was all meeting up with people, and user groups back in the day used to be in person. And that's a big part also why I emphasize people getting off of their computers and going out and networking with people at different cybersecurity events and tech events and all that.
Shoot 'em ups or adventure games. Yet we often forget that this universe of digital code and silicon chips was hacked away for nights on end.
Code in the Hubble telescope is awesome. Yeah. It also gives me the ability to tease my dad anytime, because I get to just say, oh, yeah, my dad worked on the Hubble telescope. He's the reason it broke. He'll flip out and basically go like, I was on the shutter team. That was the lens team. That wasn't me.
Miners. And while a happy few struck gold and became overnight millionaires, many early pioneers were less fortunate. As a group...
Do you think Wikipedia was the godfather of AI? No. AI started originally at MIT's artificial intelligence labs and stuff like that in academia. But the data that AI is being trained on is from all of us refusing to limit the amount of data we gave out. So all the people for years that kept saying, oh, they have my data anyway. What's the point, being worried about it and, like doing all the stuff that you need to do. Well, years of apathy. Now all that data out there for AI to be trained on. Won't be long before we have AI trained on, PII of victims, and then you can just go to an LLM, and then suddenly you got, like, Marcia Smith and all of her information. And it says skipping through websites isn't just Wikipedia. Oh, hell no. What was it? OpenAI famously did that with Reddit. They go through GitHub for code and all that. They go anywhere there are resources. Now what they're doing is they've ran out of fresh, clean data for AI to train on, because anything that's gone on within the past 5 years has a high likelihood that it's been poisoned by AI slop. So in order to get new data that is untainted, they're buying rare books. Like some of them are one-of-ones by the pallet. Stripping them off, stripping the spine off, scanning all the pages, and then shredding it. They're not even doing a non-destructive way of scanning to bring that data in.
One longtime supporter of hackers is Stuart Brand, editor of the Whole Earth catalogs.
They are shy, sweet, incredibly brilliant, and I think more effective in pushing the culture around now in good ways than almost any group I can think of.
To make his point, Brand invited 100 top computer designers to an exclusive hackers conference in this secluded campsite north of San Francisco.
Anybody wants breakfast, now's the time.
Despite bad weather and crude living conditions.
This is like one of the first hacker conferences, if you think about it. In 1985. Dude. Like, this is... I want you to put this into perspective. The world knew of computers, but they didn't know of software people. And a lot of the, you know, like, there was not really... There was the idea of the nerd, but the computer nerd was just starting to really come about in the 80s. You maybe had your modem clubs and your computer clubs. Like, you know, there was literally modem clubs and radio clubs. That's what my parents told me back in the day.
The camp was a true hacker heaven. Well stocked with plenty of computer toys, and of course...
Do I think in a couple of years AI tokens will be the next Bitcoin? Hell no! What, all the stupid little cryptocurrency AI projects that are such bullshit that are basically just grifting off of money? No. That's grifting off of people who are ignorant. I actually think that a lot of the AI companies eventually are going to have a real hard correction like we did with the dot-com boom and bust.
Enough candy and soda to last through the night.
I love how things really never changed.
But the real purpose of the get-together was to discuss the unique set of values that made the computer revolution possible and brainstorm about its future.
My political platform is that we need an electronic declaration of independence.
My project is to make all software free.
I want to talk to people.
That's Richard Stallman! I'm like, I know that voice and I know that mission. But that is like, this is so cool. This is like the first hacker conference, basically, that I know of.
Who are interested in taking high school kids and turning them into us.
To set the record straight on what hackers really stand for.
A hacker is just a person who hacks away at the computer keyboard until the program works.
This was the original definition. I've been telling you all this for years. The media perverted and twisted the original definition of hacker to be this malicious thing, when a hacker was meant, it was a person that makes something, do something it may not necessarily have been designed for, or getting it to work in the way that you intend it to do for your needs. So when a lot of you are out there, like you're, you know, working on your home labs, you're hacking your home lab together. You could also be hacking your home lab to break in, and that's another form of playful curiosity.
Now, Cracker, on the other hand, is almost the same thing. He just hacks away at that keyboard, but until he breaks into, cracks the system security on a computer.
A hacker never finishes a program. A hacker will get to a point where a program does something and maybe take a deep breath and say, how can I make it do this? How can I make it do that? And it'll just keep working. And the hacker often won't shut off the computer until he collapses at the keyboard or something.
They do not have so much...
I've been saying this for years. I've been trying to tell you all this for years. This is coming out of the mouths of the very first generation of hackers. Like that Steve Wozniak there. Well, listen to what he says at this very first apparent hacker conference in 1985.
And it'll just keep working. And the hacker often won't shut off the computer until he collapses at the keyboard or something.
They do not have so much the normal
friends to distract them, other activities to go to. They don't generally have girlfriends. Anything that's going to need a large attachment, commitment of their time, the computer is it and only it.
My name's Andrew Hertzfeld. I bought and fell in love with an Apple II in 1978, went to work for Apple in 1979, and was lucky enough to help design the Macintosh.
Andy Hertzfeld is perhaps the best example of the modern-day hacker, driven by the same pure spirit as his predecessors, yet working within a commercial framework. He designed his latest hack in one weekend, just in time for the conference.
So my hackers conference is this...
Macintosh's crazy flex? No. I want you to think about this. Macintosh in the 1980s, without internet, without Stack Overflow, without any of that. That blows my mind.
Program that allows you to switch very quickly between programs on the Mac, and I have it set up here so you can switch between them in less than a second's worth of time. If you're doing something like this, it could take as much as a minute to get in before. When it takes so long, you think, oh, maybe it's not worth it to include that extra little graphic embellishment in my letter. But if you can switch between it without even thinking about it, then you'll go to that extra trouble to make your letter look a little nicer.
This is 1985. I want to put this in context. This was 6 years before Linux even existed. Linux wasn't created until 1991. The reason why Apple succeeded as a company to this day is something they have forgotten. Their hacker spirit. Look at how he's talking about what he did. He hacked the Macintosh to do what he wanted, and he's just like, we're doing that. He's enjoying it. And there's no, like, corporate motive here of, like, oh, we need to do it this way, get in an agile sprint, and then, size it up to the right shirt so that you could split all the work across the epic, and you know what I mean. I know I mixed up a couple of terms there. I am tired, okay? But the point being, that's why Apple was beating Microsoft a lot, especially in perception for many years with Windows. Windows was business suit. We're not hackers, we're businessmen. Then you have Apple over here, a bunch of people hacking a computer in a garage and putting it together, and then just like hacking it some more and being like, hey, I can do this.
A few months later, Hertzfeld sold his program to Apple for a flat $100,000.
Holy!
Money wasn't the reason he came up with this hack.
I'm sorry, I gotta pause for one more second. Inflation calculator. Hold on, calculator.net. All right. Average in 1985. Oh, hold on. Dude made $1/3 in today's money.
Back in the first place. Instead, it was
just the fun and joy of seeing your programs working.
This is why Apple used to succeed. It was fun. They hacked. They enjoyed it. You heard Steve Wozniak earlier. I really believe Steve Wozniak, when he really exited the scene, Apple's soul really just started to die. Because you notice Steve Wozniak is here. Not Steve Jobs from what I can see. Maybe he'll show up later. But so far I haven't seen Steve Jobs.
A lot of fun.
Credit for hackers is always defamation for big companies, but you never hear who helped them. Yeah.
Being a hobbyist and taking your hobby seriously. Okay? So you can't be a hacker if you're a dilettante. If programming, for example, is something that you do, on Sunday afternoons and the rest of the time you don't think about it, then you're not a hacker.
I think the hacker drive the children in us. Children love to discover, explore, create something a little beyond what they could before.
It's not so much a hacker ethic as a hacker instinct. It's sort of like the baby ducks when they see their first moving object.
It's an interesting way to put it.
Computers are sort of a fascinating build-it set where you can build things that you can then use to build more things.
What you're building is kind of alive. It has a life of its own. It's a little thing that follows all your commands.
It allows you to put together structures that you couldn't have put
Dude, Stallman's so young.
until you're making structures thousands of times as big.
Once you figure out the solution to the puzzle, you can write the instructions down and then watch them execute, you know, a million times a second.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly where and when the hacker movement got started. This software genealogy chart is out in every direction, from Boston's universities to California's Silicon Valley and back again.
Jeez.
In his book, Hackers, journalist Steve Levy tracked
People forgot this history.
in the early 60s, where the first wave of hackers emerged, attracted by the university's large mainframe computers.
Mm-hmm.
They found times in the middle of the night, maybe in locked computer rooms, where they can do these things. And the things they did for fun on the computers were the things that turned out to be the things we use computers for now today, for really useful stuff.
Machine time was extremely tight. In the early PDP-1 days, there was a sign-up list, and when the sign-up list appeared on Friday morning, in 2 hours, the machine had been completely signed up for the following week.
Wow.
Richard Greenblatt was one of the first, and is perhaps the quintessential MIT hacker.
Is DEF CON 24/7 once it starts? Not exactly. So officially the DEF CON main events, like what is it, 8 or 9 in the morning to like 5. But all the villages and many different companies and individuals, they all run their own parties and events afterwards too. So there's a lot of stuff. But don't be surprised if there's events that you find somebody tells you at like 2 o'clock in the morning that is across the other side of town. I mean, hell, John McAfee apparently rented out an entire 3-story nightclub with stripper poles from there, like 3 stories tall. One of my buddies at my local DEF CON group told me all about it, how he hung out with McAfee while he was like high as fuck. Just like enjoying, like he was just chilling out, and he's like, have a drink, man. He basically bought the entire nightclub and made it so that if you had a DEF CON badge, you got right in. And they made all the normie people stay out, apparently. Like, it was DEF CON only. McAfee paid for it. So there's stuff that may happen like that. Not always, but there's a lot of stuff to do. And, of course, you always got the CTFs going you can do.
Working night after night on primitive equipment, he helped develop the language of artificial intelligence.
What hackers did a lot was just hang around the machine, and you know, somebody would find that they couldn't use all of their time, or maybe they'd be a little bit late showing up, or something or other like that, and so you could jump on the machine.
Talking about artificial intelligence in 1985.
Get off again.
I'd get up around 5 or so and come into the lab, read the messages people would send me, then I'd go out to Chinatown with people and have a nice dinner. Then I'd come back and I would write programs all night, and around 7 in the morning I'd go to sleep.
Richard Stallman is called the last pure hacker for choosing to remain at MIT despite the temptations of the commercial world, true to the spirit of the early hackers.
What they had in common was mainly love of excellence in programming.
So if you don't know who he is, Richard Stallman is the guy that started the entire free software movement, which, if not for that, Linux and the entire open source movement would not exist. It was built upon a lot of the work that he laid down. I am aware that recently there's, been some controversy. Apparently he said something, whatever. I'm not going to get into that side of it. I'm talking about the history that he helped lead the GNU ecosystem. So when you hear that joke about, excuse me, sir, what you're using is not Linux, but GNU/Linux. It's the Linux kernel with the GNU userland applications. He started the whole GNU thing. GNU's not Unix. So that way, he was trying to make what is called GNU Herd, which is a microkernel. It's very complex architecture to do it. To this day, they still haven't gotten GNU Herd going, but it's still an active project. They're still trying to develop. In theory, a microkernel is a very solid idea, but in practice, it's another thing because you have all these different servers and services that all have to communicate with at the same time rather than a monolithic kernel like Linux. And when Linux came out, they just slotted into the missing spot in the entire GNU ecosystem that Richard Stallman made. But that doesn't happen until 6 years after this documentary. Because this is 1985. Linux wasn't birthed until 1991.
They wanted to make their
You quit school today?
they used be as good as they could. They also wanted to make them do...
I mean, people have their own reasons for that. Is Cubes too much for just normal people who aren't doing heinous shit? I don't recommend Cubes to average people or even average Linux users. The main use that I've had for Cubes, I mean, you don't need it to do that. I mean, you can use base Unix and whatever, but I mainly used it as a laptop when I was working in an MSP space, especially, that I could have a bit more confidence in coming to an infected customer. So there would be quite a few times we would have to take care of clients that were the victims of malware or ransomware or whatnot. And I felt more comfortable bringing in a laptop that had Cubes on it so I could at least have some more isolation from anything else that possibly could touch the laptop while I'm fixing their network or whatnot. Would be a step down, but still have some rerouting and online security because it's low-key overkill. Like I said, Whonix, WHONIX. It's a virtual machine. It's designed to be run in a virtual machine. You have a gateway and a workstation VM. That's it. Update the software, of course, regularly. And it does have an amnesiac mode, too. And it's perfectly fine for research, too.
The love of excellence in programming. They wanted to make their programs that they used be as good as they could. They also wanted to make them do neat things. They wanted to be able to do something in a more exciting way than anyone believed possible and show, look how wonderful this is. I bet you didn't believe this could be done.
It's old boys, can't you code it? Program it right.
The people that took a systematic approach toward the development of computer software missed the boat. It was the trial and error people working illegally in the underground who made most of the advances.
Broderbund software publisher Doug Carlston got his first taste of computers in college as the hacker movement spread beyond MIT.
It was the non-engineering students who were all learning structured code who were the hackers, the liberal arts majors whose only computer time available was if they gummed up the locks and snuck into the building late at night because they weren't allowed to sign up for this. We did everything by trial and error because we didn't have any courses, we didn't have access to anything other than the manuals. And as far as I'm aware, the whole group of midnight programmers there were people who didn't have any real functional use for what they were doing at all.
I want you to listen to what that guy just said. He wasn't able to go into the classes or stuff like that. All he had was the manuals. The OG hackers were self-taught. So I want you to think about this for a second. Not that I'm dissing anyone that's like, what class should I take or what cert should I take or all of that. This is how the most successful and original hackers came about it. They were curious. They were playful. They were tinkerers. Sometimes they just thought, you know, what if I did? That's how I have been doing my career and my life. And then eventually turned it into something that I can make a proper career out of instead of just effing around and, you know, learning all this other stuff. because I was effing around, but I wanted to find out a paycheck. But the point being is, these were liberal arts majors that came in, forced their way in to learn systems. They were told not to go to classes that were allowed to have access, gum it up, lock it up, and work through the middle of the night. So I want you to think right now, seriously, if you're sitting there saying, I don't know how to advance, what next cert, or what next class should I take, or, that's wrong. Be playful. Tinker. Be curious. You never know where you're going to end up. Like, for example, when, a lot of people are like, Chief, how do you know all about, like, cubes and tails and all of this stuff and everything? I got curious. I wanted to play with it. I learned about cubes because I learned about the idea one day. And I'm like, let me go get an extra laptop for this. A friend of mine was offloading 150 Dell, was it Inspiron, I think it was? Pretty decent. Just enough to start out. Actually, I think Yitz, no, I gave that laptop to Yitz. It's now his Cube's laptop. He uses it for developer work. Because Cube's actually, he said, it's kind of nice because you can have multiple virtual machines. So you can essentially have your own local network inside the laptop. But anyway. You should find the threads that you need to pull instead of expecting knowledge to fall on your lap or be fed to your mouth by a spoon. These people were in a conference in 1985 talking about hacking. You got everyone from Steve Wozniak to Richard Stallman to... There's 100 or so of the top people here. Not one of them is saying, like... Oh, well, it's because of this class that I got to... No, they're like, oh, it's because I tinkered and we were playful. We stood up in the middle of the night and we hung out with friends. We were talking about it and we just were wondering, how can we make it do that? So think about that mindset when you're trying to advance in your career and you want to upskill your knowledge. Because if you're just like, I just want to upskill so that I can make more money, you're going to be miserable along the way. Find a way to have fun with it. A lot of people ask me how I keep from burning out. I have fun with my shit.
I didn't know it was hacking then, and I only became aware of MIT when I got to Stanford.
Bruce Baumgart was one of the midnight programmers at the Stanford AI Lab, where he built robots by day and played an addictive game called Space War at night.
God.
To discover that PDP-1...
I forgot about that.
Everything I possibly could have wanted, and to stay up all night with it was just incredible. You can get rolling at 9 p.m. and the physicists have left, and you could stay there till 9 a.m. when they rolled back in and do it night after night.
Like this primitive word processor, many of the early breakthroughs developed by hackers in university labs have since inspired some of today's most popular products. For instance, Space War was really the forerunner of modern video games. Sketchpad has influenced several contemporary drawing programs. And this crude flight simulator paved the way for recent commercial hits.
Wild to see that's a flight simulator compared to a Microsoft Flight Simulator today.
In the early 70s, a second wave of hardware hackers and hobbyists surfaced in California's legendary Silicon Valley, triggered by the introduction of low-cost microprocessors.
All my life, I knew I was going to have a computer. I was pretty much like the rest of the hackers. You reach a point in school where this has become so incredible thing in your life. You've got you got posters of computers on your wall instead of rock musicians.
Steve Wozniak, nicknamed Woz by his friends, was one of the first to join the Homebrew Computer Club, whose members shared the same obsessive dream: to build their own home computer.
What happened was
you really, a lot of people don't really understand how hard it was to make those early computers. There is a reason why the Woz gets the utmost respect, and if you don't know who the fucking Woz is, you know nothing about the history of Apple.
just the environment changes. All of a sudden, the cost of the processors and the cost of enough memory to be a computer fell so low you can actually afford to do it.
You could get a computer you could think of as a home computer for an amount of money that you thought was okay. But by the time you got through with it, or it got through with you, you had spent almost 10 times the amount of money. You'd spent a much longer time. You had to dig in and learn the hard way, which is the best way.
A central figure at the club meetings was activist Lee Felsenstein, designer of several early microcomputers and the first truly portable computer, the Osborne 1.
Oh! Hardware if you thought you were only going to do software, or if you thought you were only going to plug a program in. Well, there was nothing to plug in. There was nowhere to plug it in. The thing didn't have any eyes and ears.
I found a computer manual. I started learning what real mini computers were. I found other manuals on chips, and I started designing my own. I had no books that told me how to.
I had no books that told me how to. Welcome to a lot of IT and cybersecurity. For those of you that are new to this field, a lot of, for the people that, you know, I see come in my streams all the time, no offense. I know you mean well when you say, like, hey, do you recommend a book or that? There aren't books for a lot of the things we talk about. They're new, they're novel, and by the time they're in a book, it may have passed its time.
To seek out people to help you in all of these matters, you had to get advice, and you had to learn to give as well as you got.
That was sort of how I got my positive feedback in the world. I felt that I was something. The rest of the world didn't think microcomputers were going to amount to anything. I just thought I had a neat one for my house. I'm going to show others. I'm going to even help them build their own.
The design that
That's kind of how it is at DEF CON.
homebrew computer friends.
We're all geeking out over our stuff.
It earned him over $50 million and paved the way for generations to come. The Apple's success is partly due to its open architecture, allowing users to tinker with the machine. And
this is why Apple used to be great. Do you see what he said? The great thing about Apple was the open architecture, allowing users to tinker with their computer. The Woz used to ship Apple computers with schematics of the computers. Today, we have to fight tooth and claw to get Apple to release schematics to frickin' repair our own devices. They fought us for years, seizing parts through customs. They refuse to allow us to make devices more repairable. And they have soldered all the components in. Apple lost its way from its original roots. And that's why it's like kind of like, it's not dying, but it's stagnating. They don't have the hacker spirit anymore, which is what made them thrive in the first place. The iPhone broke the walls of what a phone was. The iPod broke the walls of what an MP3 player was. The Mac really pushed home computing to what it is today.
improve on it. This hacker trademark was later adopted by IBM for its own personal computers in a radical departure from its traditional policy. As corporate America moved in and computer hardware became available to millions, a third wave of hackers set out to design software for their new machines.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I spent half my salary that year on an Apple and basically flunked out like really fast because I was programming all the time on my Apple.
In just a few years, self-made software artist Bill Budge designed dozens of programs, and money started pouring in as the video game fad took America by storm. He remembers his first royalty check.
And I was just blown away. You know, this is more money than I wanted to sell them for in 1 month's royalties. And yeah, by that time, graduate school was like, you know, rapidly becoming a thing of the past.
I never intended to make money. It just sort of like hit me in the face. I said, okay, thank you.
Another independent...
That's how I feel about my content. Never intended to start making money. And vendors are like, hey, yeah, we have a product. We'll pay you to promote it. And I'm like, I actually do like your product. Sure, money.
An author who benefit from this short-lived cash bonanza is Robert Woodhead, designer of Wizardry, a best-selling fantasy role.
And to be clear, I always disclose whenever I am affiliated with a company before anyone makes a claim otherwise. I want to make that clear.
Game, inspired by Dungeons and Dragons.
We're wandering down a corridor here, going around a corner. That's a door. We face it, we kick through, and we get an encounter.
Wow, this is the first Dungeons and Dragons based game.
Now, since I'm just doing a demonstration here, I'm just going to throw the fusion bomb spell, which I'm sure you'd appreciate. That just vaporizes anything. Whoops, I don't have any spell points listed, so for that. Nobody who is a professional programmer and considers himself a hacker actually works a day in his life. They all play.
It's the challenge. I want that computer to do what I want it to do, and it's not doing it right yet. There's still a bug in that program, and I'm going to get that bug. And it's the challenge of making it work.
That's what being a hacker's all about. Not what the news has told you, where it's like, oh, hackers are these evil people and all that. No, we're just having fun doing it. Being benevolent or malicious is actually irrelevant to the definition of a true hacker. It's the challenge. I want you to think about that. Probably goes curiosity, hobby, career. Pretty much. Like, I tell people all the time, I don't feel like I am working when I go to work at my job right now. I enjoy what I do. And then when I come home and make content, I'm kind of doing it's basically an extension of what I'm doing already and enjoy. So, yeah.
Philosophical phone freaks and early hackers believe that information and tools should be free, or at least available to serious seekers, and they openly shared their work with others. Some argue that the computer revolution could not have...
The term open source did not exist yet.
Back then,
I don't think that was till 1996, 95.
wrote a program, they would put it on paper tape and keep it in the drawer by the computer because the next person needed that program in order to run his programs.
But today, hackers are divided between the old values and the new. They can't agree whether source codes, the basic blueprints of a program, should be shared or not.
Hackers frequently want to look at code, like operating system listings and the like, to learn how it was done before them.
Wow, look at that. That looks... What the hell is that? I want it. What the fuck is that? But, like, it's interesting. Like, you're actually seeing them argue about proprietary software versus open source, but the term open source was not yet coined. At this time, Richard Stallman and the free software movement was going around calling it free software. But free as in freedom, not free as in fear. But the problem was, and this is why later on, Eric S. Raymond, and I forgot what the guy's name was that was behind Debian or that. Anyway, they coined the term open source because they saw the perception that corporate had with free. Because in English, free is the implication of, cheap, shoddy, low quality. So that's why they sought out a different term for it, and thus open source. And Richard Stallman even said that basically that's why he preferred the word libre very often, because libre refers to freedom. That's why often when you see it as FOSS or floss, so free, libre, and open source software.
They're going to learn to do it, and source should be made available reasonably to those sort of people, not to copy, not to sell, but to learn from.
The Woz, one of the men who built Apple, just told you something Apple has completely forgot again and turned their backs. Apple doesn't really open source all that much anymore. They have a few things they maybe contribute to, but come on.
Tools I will give away to anybody, but the product, that's my soul is in that product.
I'm gonna try to stop pausing. Want to finish this.
That product and changing it, because then it won't be mine.
Imagine if you bought a house and the basement was locked and only the original building contractor had the key. If you needed to make any change, repair anything, you had to go to him. And if he was too busy doing something else, he'd tell you to get lost and you'd be stuck.
It's like somebody saying, go.
That is the exact reason, by the way, I have been working to make my own automations to replace if this and that and other systems for my stream announcements because I couldn't control what others were doing when they had errors, and they couldn't all work with the platforms I needed. So I hacked together my own announcement and hacked in some AI that does processing on my local server that I hacked together.
Looking at a painting and saying, well, I don't like that color over there, so
This isn't internet. You can get this video from infocon.org. There's 6 terabytes of media content. We're not even going to scratch the surface. Yeah. So go to infocon.org, you can grab all of this. This is under their documentaries, hacking documentaries folder. Oh, you got an ad. I'll remind me. Oh wait, he can't hear. Never mind.
a can of paint and change it. That wrecks the whole painting. Okay, that changes everything that I did. And that to me is one of the greatest insults.
You're at that person's mercy, and you become downtrodden and resigned. That's what happens when the blueprints to a computer program are kept secret by the organization that sells it. And that's the usual way things are done.
People are not trying to take protection off those because they want to learn from them. By and large, what they're trying to do is take the commercial value of those and either obtain it for themselves for free or possibly through swapping those with other people to obtain other people's efforts for free. It's a totally different ballgame.
Protection and software piracy are now big issues for hackers because with today's technology, anyone can copy in less than a minute a program that might have taken thousands of hours to create. In keeping with the hacker's spirit,
It's the Bill Gates famous letter to homebrew computer clubs, basically roasting them for basically pirating software. Homebrew computer clubs. I think it was all about like Altair Basics or something like that.
several authors have come up with interesting solutions to this problem. They're called freeware or shareware, software you can copy and try for free. You pay only if you decide you like it.
The reason I started was because I finished this program.
Wow.
I was going to send it out, and I knew that
It's so weird to see like, oh yeah, we can do this thing called shareware and freeware.
The late Andrew Flugelman, author of a free communications program called PC Talk, made pretty good money.
Okay, ads over. I'm gonna find this video. You go to infocon.org. This is not on YouTube, so takes a second to load. Go to infocon.org. Everything's here, and right now we're in the documentaries. But they have like all the conferences, talks, things like that. Well, the WAS and the early teams are LibreOSS mindset. Steve wants ownership and people to use his opinionated closed source software. Yeah, it's closed source software that sucks ass in the modern day. Seriously, I have to use a MacBook Pro at work. It annoys me. How the hell do people... I get the aesthetic of Mac. It's the way you have to do certain workflows, and it's not conducive to multi-monitors and stuff, I noticed, in the ways that I do it. But yeah.
Giving away his freeware, then charging $35 per satisfied user for support and updated versions.
I tell people that whether they like it or not, give it to a friend.
Better Mac than Windows? I'd rather Windows in business and throw every Mac out.
1/10 of the people who are using the program now have paid for it. And there are a lot of commercial software companies that can't make that claim.
Bob Wallace is another shareware author who's done fairly
What's up, Shiraz?
free word processing program, PC Write.
That is a way to give software away. That's a lot of fun. You get great letters and great phone calls. People are very appreciative, and they give you some great ideas.
This must have been way before Microsoft Office then.
Another channel for the free exchange of information is now available on various computer networks and electronic bulletin boards nationwide. By dialing these systems through a simple phone hookup called a modem, users can send and receive messages in seconds.
It's so weird they had to explain what a modem is.
This is what I uploaded to the source last night. I mean, I was doing this. Already some people on the source organized a conference about the Hackers Convention, called John Draper, who ran up to me, and we sat down and wrote it, and this was on there last night, and by this morning there were already 15 comments from other people across the country about what was going on here, including questions that were fed back.
David Hughes, nicknamed Source Void Dave, operates a very popular electronic bulletin board in Colorado Springs.
I use it for politics, very heavy. I've been able to organize the defeat of an ordinance in the city of Colorado Springs. As a consequence, every politician in Colorado Springs calls my bulletin board to defend themselves against what other people are saying, and they're arguing with them.
But electronic democracy also has its price. With so many channels of information available to the consumer, even the most dedicated hobbyists are now experiencing information overload.
What's going to happen next is there's going to be so much information that we won't be able to have, it won't be really available to us because we're overwhelmed with it.
We're there now.
So much stuff created, which society did not have a need for that much of that kind of information.
And it's not just information. It's also...
This one is Hackers, Wizards of the Electronic Age from 1985.
People and products.
Helter-skelter, helter-skelter.
In their enthusiasm, too many hackers have deluged the market with clever but often useless gadgetry.
I think there are even too many computer people and computer hackers now. Too many people creating too many pieces of software and pieces of hardware to be useful. And that shows up in the fact that more money has been lost in personal computers by companies than has been made by winners.
But some recent software hacks are apparently hitting
a YouTube series, which is a CompTIA Plus series in Minecraft.
They're very visual, easy to use.
I think some people would like that. Mostly youngers, but yeah.
Simple applications like this
I think it'd be good.
Program that lets you create your own cartoons. This music construction set that teaches you how to compose music. Or this print shop that allows you to design and print your own greeting cards or stationery.
It's so weird to think about, like, they're like, hey, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that, and this has been my life since I was born. This has just always been. It's hard to imagine the world preceding us being there and how we would operate in it.
Another popular hack is Mac Paint, really a blank canvas with electronic brushes and graphic tools, allowing complete amateurs to paint intricate pictures, as Macintosh artist Susan Kerr explains.
Say you wanted to do a little leaf border, which might take a while if you were really going to draw it leaf by leaf, but instead, you just whip around with the eraser, so you can pull it off, rotate one, maybe take another one, rotate that one, so you can build up a little library of shapes to work with like a palette. Then you can say, begin to drag away from those.
It's amazing what even the
border.
weak computers back then could do.
Pull it across. I'm being sloppy, but say you took 15 minutes to do this, you could really get it just the way you want it. So then you have a little border, and if you want to put it to work in a business situation, which is, as we know, very important.
You prefer, if it's agree to disagree, I just bought a second-hand 2019 MacBook Pro, and I prefer it over bloated Windows. I do have a 2021 Surface with Windows, but nothing can defeat Hyperland, in my opinion. Here's the issue. When you start using a Mac more and more, for the hackery kind of things we do, I get a lot of headaches. Go ask anyone that's had to manage Docker on a Mac. Updates often have broken it, or, you know, like, it's a thing. The interesting thing with a lot of the Mac problems also comes down to the users. Like, they genuinely do not understand, like, you can't use certain computers for everything. You need to move on to a different device at a certain point. Or, like, I've had to argue with them and say 16 gigabytes of memory, what is it, like, back then it was like 8 gigabytes of memory. I think we were arguing, I said 8 gigabytes isn't enough because Apple was doing that. And they're like, well, Apple compresses memory and all this shit. And I'm like, well, so does Windows and Linux, but you're still going to use memory. But, yeah.
You can say office picnic, and then you've justified the expense.
I'm feeling the headache. See? You see my problem. The reason why I say I'd rather have Windows than a Mac computer in a business environment especially is because I can at least use Windows subsystem for Linux and have the exact experience I know I need to have. Yes, I'm on Windows, but I'm in a Linux terminal almost all day long. That and VS Code.
To your department.
The author of Mac Paint, Bill Atkinson, has designed a dazzling new application for his program. Called Mac Vision, it translates video or television pictures into computer images, which can then be retouched or printed as part of a letter.
My camera. Dueling cameras. Aim at your camera. Go like that. And then I say, scan me one. All right, let's go to uppercase B. Now I can say, well, gee, I only want this much of it. I'll select that much. For instance. So then I could say, you know, you do all the standard, you know, make a negative out of it, or peel off copies of it, or flip it. Isn't that amazing? That is hot.
Hacks like those only hint at what's yet to come. Some believe that the next breakthroughs will be triggered by the introduction of compact laser discs that can hold up to 600 million characters, or the equivalent of 4 copies of the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Imagine using a computer to help you be able to ask, why do light bulbs burn out? And you see a picture of a light bulb and sort of other nodes of information you can just touch on and say, you know, just browse and steer through a large amount of information in a pleasant and enjoyable way. I mean, can you imagine a person now reading an encyclopedia cover to cover? Doesn't happen. But people spend hours and hours playing adventure, exploring some imaginary information. Well, if it were pleasurable and enjoyable...
Is this documentary based on Windows? No, it's about hackers. The first generation of hackers and hacker culture, and how the digital world was being shaped in 1985, before Linux existed, before open source was even coined as a term, before, you know, Microsoft Windows was really everywhere in PCs. Mac was dominating. Is Catchy OS better than Nobara? No. And I don't mean it as in like, no, it's not better. I mean, y'all need to get out of the mindset, as I've made very clear on a YouTube video when I go into this in much deeper detail. There is no objectively best or better Linux. There are Linux that may be better at certain use cases. But ultimately, the best Linux is the one that works best for what you want and what you need. So, don't care what other people say. You can listen and be like, oh, that's new. I can check that out. But don't under any means feel like you have to be obligated to, like, search out for what's objectively the best. It's all subjective.
Explore real live, all human knowledge. Suddenly you've got a very powerful learning tool where I can afford
to review episode. Want to take a look? If you put it in the Discord, I can probably take a look at it tomorrow. Because after this video,
Late in the night,
I gotta go to bed for work.
Came true at the conference. This bizarre hack had one side of the audience compete against the other by averaging the action of the players' joysticks to make them play as one, turning an ordinary video game into an unusual team sport.
Wait, what?
It's that kind of passion and playful cleverness that once sparked the computer revolution and brought the hackers' dreams to life.
You've watched Brian Lundick explaining old computers. I really did miss out. Old PC magazine with source code that can retype into your old PC and you can compile it. Yeah. Brian Lundick had some really great content back in the day before he went off the rails. He was one of the inspirations for a lot of my content back in the day, and, you know, introduced me to things like System 76 and even Purism and other companies, early on. kind of unfortunate that he's kind of like turned from cool tech guy giving history and knowledge to like this weird tech culture warrior and going into like stupid tangents about things that I'm like, dude, touch grass. That upload is a way to send you the video without it being uploaded. You'd still have to upload it somewhere. It'd just be uploaded to WeTransfer or something like that. You can use WeTransfer or Google Drive or one of those. But, you know, when you're talking about, like, the old PC mags with source code, let me show you this. Hold on. I think I still have them. Linux Journal. I never really threw them away. And now it's kind of a collector's item. Because it's not in print anymore. But yeah, we used to get stuff like this. You know, there's Linux Mag. You would have like DVDs inside, and then there would be all sorts of software to play with. So like, you know, I'd get these like all the time. Linux Magazine Pro, Linux Plus, Linux Journal, Linux Format, you know, Linux Pro. Like, you used to get, like, do some of these still have the discs? Let me see. Hold on. Okay, Knopix free DVD. Some of these may... Nope. I'm trying to see if there's a... Nope. Nope. Ah! That one! Your magazines used to come with discs. With different software for you to play with. So, like, every magazine you got, like, every month, was like a whole new, like, ooh, what goodies do we get to play with today? And in this case, this is Mandriva Linux. That's how it used to be. We didn't read books. We kind of read concepts and blurbs of things, and then we're told, here's this cool thing. Go hack it. What modern tech grinds my gear? Most PC shops similar to Radio Shack is no longer available in Malaysia, replaced with phone accessory shops. Yeah, we have the same problem. Radio Shack actually shut down many years ago, and Radio Shack I used to work for, that was actually one of my first jobs. I was hired primarily because I had component electric knowledge. This was the time when Radio Shack moved away from their core base and started selling cell phones. Every Radio Shack I knew was always within a mile of 3 or 4 other cell phone shops. Nobody goes to Radio Shack to buy phones. And I'd tell my manager this, and I even made a complaint to corporate, said nobody goes to Radio Shack for phones. They go to Radio Shack for components. And then I remember the past few years that I worked at Radio Shack, the last few years, people would come in asking for components, and I kept telling them, we don't have it, go to Micro Center. We don't have it, go to Micro Center. You're going to have to go to DigiKey. People eventually stopped coming. The people that actually spent money. Because you focused on this high margin item everyone else is selling. But now you could corner the market with, you know, component retail stores. But a print is $17. Yeah.
At the cutting edge of new technology, the hacker spirit lives on. And for millions of new computer users, the adventure is just beginning.
Wow, that is really interesting to see what the world was like back then. You know, in terms of hackers and the original hackers and all that, that was really cool. Yeah, still comes with DVDs. Well, who has a DVD player anymore, though, with the Linux magazines for that? But, yeah. I think when I get back from DEF CON, we may still continue some of the Hacker Summer Camp stuff, because there's some good gems in here. Like, we've got, like, so many hacker documentaries to go through. The KGB, The Computer and Me by Robin Bates. Unauthorized Access by Annalisa Savage. Hackers 95 by Phone E and RF Burns. Oh, we got one with Dark Tangent at DEF CON 5. Yeah, we're gonna have to, you know, go through at least most of this folder. Oh, they even have one for Dark Web, fighting cybercrime. Yeah, we gonna have some fun stuff. We'll go from the classics. But, at least you got to live in it. Message go through yet? I haven't seen a message. Where did you put it? Oh, I haven't checked the chats or anything. But, yeah, this was fun. I may be on stream again tomorrow or Friday. I do want to at least do one last stream before, I have to get ready for Hacker Summer Camp, because this Sunday there is not going to be a stream, and there will not be a stream until... Okay, let me correct that. There won't be a stream this Sunday for sure. There's a possibility, emphasis on possibility, not guarantee, I will stream while I'm at DEF CON. Okay? But, worst case scenario, I should be back in shape to stream... What is it? Hold on. Give me a couple days to recover. We'll call it August the 12th. But, yeah. So, be looking for you to meet you. So, well, RAM price go down. Yeah, Papa was. So, if you are going to Hacker Summer Camp, I'll be all around B-sides, of course. Okay? I, of course, am planning Saturday morning to at least be at ShabbatCon. Gotta do my prayer thing. And then, most of DEF CON, if I'm in downtime, I will probably be at the call center village with my friends. Because I'm a volunteer with them. But yeah, if you run into me, say hi. Unless I am on a call, paying for something, you know that, and you see me around, feel free to say hi. And I'll probably have stickers to give people, too. So, yeah. Don't forget to hack the planet. But yeah, so, anyway, I love you all. Stay safe, stick around for the raid if you're over on Twitch, and happy hacking. I'll try to be on tomorrow or the day after. I need to finish up my Cubes laptop. I'm gonna try to do that work, or Friday. Either way, I have Saturday and Friday is gonna be like basically crunch time to do double checks and all that stuff. But yeah, so love you all. Stay safe. Join the Discord. Join the Matrix. The links are in bio for all of my socials. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube and watch the YouTube video. If you're going to Hacker Summer Camp, we got a first-time guide on the YouTube video. 35 minutes of goodness, of tons of advice and experience for you to know, events, and just good stuff for you to know. But yeah, love you all. Stay safe. Happy hacking. And I will see you next time. If not next time, in Vegas.